The Fan, Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN, WFAN-FM, New York. This is New York City FC Soccer on WFAN.com.
Ball played to Villa at the top of the box, shoots and scores! Shelton, top of the box, Shelton shoots and scores! Balls out wide for Jimenez, who's in behind the defense, takes the shot, saved by Johansson. Long shot by McNamara, and it's in the net! And Tommy McNamara from 25 yards out. Looking to turn toward the byline, plays it across, and it's a goal for New York City!
Here's Glenn Crooks.
And a good afternoon from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. It has begun to rain. Some of the people that have already filed in are looking to work their way undercover, but not the supporters out in the left field bleachers. A lot of buildup for this one. The soccer community is very in tune. We got a couple of teams that commit to the attack, where conceding chances is not a concern as long as there are a greater number of opportunities for goal creation. New York City Football Club, 4-3-1, fifth in MLS in goals per game. Against the exciting expansion side, Atlanta United. They are 3-3-2, number one in goals per outing, coming off, though, a 3-1 home loss to DC United, while last Saturday night in Columbus, New York City rallied from a 2-1 deficit on second-half goals by the 19-year-old Yangel Herrera and 20-year-old Jack Harrison. Harrison's second of the game came in the 76th minute to earn the first road win for New York City 3-2. Harrison opened the scoring with a clever, composed first-time finish, a delicate chip over the keeper, Zach Steffen, after a precise through ball from Maxi Moralez. Here's Jack.
I knew it was a tough angle to come, and I've tried a couple of things in practice, tried to slide it along the floor, and it's not really come off that well. But again, it was a great ball by Maxi, and I just, it's just kind of came to me just at the last second, and I thought I'd try it, and luckily it worked out for us.
And it worked out for Harrison, too, the MLS Player of the Week. I want to welcome in my partner for today's broadcast, the former Millwall and Crystal Palace defender, Matt Lawrence. And Matt, when you talk about Jack Harrison, what an important contribution, because David Villa was back at the hotel sick.
Yeah, it's a wonderful contribution from a young lad who certainly has an eye for goal. I thought he came up very big when the opportunity was when it arose for him. He finished off two very, very good goals there, and I just think he's growing in confidence. I think he's growing in stature. He made 17 starts last season, and already this season he's played every minute, well, not every minute, but he's started every single game, and he's starting again here this afternoon. I think he's a vital cog in the NYCFC wheel.
Yeah, and Harrison is starting along with Yangel Herrera, who will be in the lineup in place of Andrea Pirlo. More on that a little bit later on. Villa sidelined last week, so the captain's armband went to a guy named Maxime Chenot, the right center back for New York City FC, and Maxime talked about that after last week's win.
This is my game. I used to be captain from my last team in Belgium. This is my character. I like to be a leader, and I love to help my teammates on the pitch, and sometimes that's why you can hear me. There's no big difference to have the captain band or not. The most important is to be good on the pitch and help the team to reach our objective at the end of the season.
Matt Lawrence, you were a center back. Obviously, you don't have to wear the armband to be a leader back there, and it's integral for you to be a vocal leader, is it not?
Yeah, it certainly is. I wore the captain's armband at times as well, but it really doesn't matter. He obviously sounds like a personality. He says it. You need to communicate in the back line. You have to. You see the whole pitch, bar and the goalkeeper. You're the one person alongside your centre-half partner who sees the whole pitch. You see the whole game. Doesn't matter armband or not. You have to be very, very vocal. You have to lead your teammates on and guide them as well. As I say, you see the whole pitch.
Well, when we return, a closer look at Atlanta United and their coach, Tata Martino. This is the pregame show, and you're listening to New York City FC Soccer on Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
There's only one St. Mary's Healthcare System for children, for kids requiring specialized rehabilitative care.
To learn more, visit stmaryskids.org, where we believe in possible.
An ice-cold Sapporo is the perfect complement to enjoy red-hot NYCFC action. Please share Sapporo responsibly.
Okay, spring is here, and maybe it's time for you to spruce up your house. Call CertaPro Painters, give it a new coat of paint, and you'll be amazed at what a difference it makes. Not only will you feel better about your biggest investment, but your neighbors will love you for getting rid of the eyesore on the block. Increase your property value, and theirs too. There's only one company to call for all of this, and you know what it is. It's CertaPro. You know they've done painting in my house, and they have my official seal of approval. Now, they're not some fly-by-night operation. This is their 25th year. They're neat, they're quick, and I can't say enough good things about them. So, if you're seeing some chipping or peeling or fading, or if you just want a new look, give my friends at CertaPro a call, and they'll take great care of you. For all your painting needs, interior or exterior, call CertaPro Painters today. 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GO-CERTA, or go to CertaPro.com.
CertaPro Painters proudly uses premium quality Benjamin Moore paints and stains. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
We were all looking forward to what our lives would be like after graduation. We had the world at our fingertips, the best of friends. We vowed to stay in touch no matter where life took us. We were ready to take on anything, almost invincible. But we weren't. I can see how after graduation friends can come and go, but I didn't see that coming.
Be smart, drive smart. Turn off your phone, obey the speed limit, buckle up, and never drive under the influence. Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee and the NYSBA.
The Fan, Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM. WFAN, WFAN FM, New York.
Glenn Crooks and Matt Lawrence back at Yankee Stadium. Personalities on the sidelines for both sides. The head coach, Patrick Vieira, for New York City FC, Arsenal legend. We'll get to him after the next break. And Tata Martino, who still holds the record, and probably always will, for appearances at Newell's Old Boys in Argentina, in Rosario, Argentina, the home of a guy named Messi. And then Tata has had some sort of a coaching career that's made a lot of waves. Barcelona and the full Argentinian national team. What do we know about Martino, and why was it so exciting for the soccer public when he signed on with Atlanta United?
Well, first and foremost, what you've already mentioned, Glenn, he managed Barcelona, probably the biggest club in the world, one of the biggest clubs in the world, managed the Argentinian national team, one of the best national teams that there is around the world, also managed the Paraguayan national team, took them in the South Africa 2010 World Cup as far as they've ever been, took them to the last 16. This guy knows what he's talking about. This guy knows how to coach. And on top of the fact that he's obviously very well versed in soccer, his teams have always been well organised, and they've always displayed that fast and fluid style of football. His teams are interesting and enjoyable to watch. He's not a Jose Mourinho of nowadays at Manchester United parking the bus, or at Chelsea winning games 1-0. This guy doesn't matter to him how many goals almost the opposition scores. He will go out and his teams will score more goals than the opposition. Almost a Kevin Keegan a la era Newcastle United when they were winning games 4-3 or losing games 4-3. Fast-flowing, exciting style of football. So, yeah, it should be a wonderful game we watch here this afternoon.
18 goals for Atlanta in MLS this season, trailing only the Portland Timbers, who have 20 on the year. All right, when we return, my one-on-one with the head coach for New York City FC, Patrick Vieira. You're listening to New York City FC Soccer on Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
What if you could get urgent care from a world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital while on vacation in Montauk? What if you could visit with your world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital without leaving your couch? And what if you could receive a second opinion from a world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital from across the nation? You can. Welcome to NYP On Demand from New York Presbyterian. Discover a suite of medical services right on your phone, tablet, or computer. Available on the NYP app and nyp.org/on-demand.
It's in the net!
Unbelievable!
What a goal from David Villa!
Captain David Villa and the rest of New York City's team return to Yankee Stadium on Wednesday, May 31st as they welcome the New England Revolution to the Bronx for the first time this season. Kickoff is at 7:30 p.m.
Laying it down the line, the chip, and it's in the net. Jack Harrison from Moralez.
Don't miss your chance to support your city and welcome your boys in blue back to the Bronx for the 2017 season. Tickets are available at nycfc.com, 855-77-NYCFC, or at the Yankee Stadium box office.
The Fan, Sports Radio 66 and 101. 1019 FM, WFAN, WFAN FM, New York.
We're back at Yankee Stadium, pregame with New York City FC head coach Patrick Vieira ahead of the match against Atlanta United. And Patrick, I know the soccer community is a buzz over this one. It's and not just the supporters for both teams, but you look at the sides. Not only are there personalities on the sideline who are very famous in the game, but those particular coaches, yourself and Tata Martino, there's a commitment to attacking soccer, which is attractive. Is that the way you see this game going a bit today?
Yeah, I think when you look at the characteristic of both teams who like to go forward, who have players who are quite comfortable with the ball, who are quite really creative as well. So both teams like to play going forward. So I believe that the team who will defend better today will have more chance of winning the game, of course, because the balance has to be right between the offensive play and the defensive play.
Now, although both teams like to attack and commit numbers forward, there is a bit of a contrast in styles because they, from the outset, whether they're home or away, they're pressing, and they're pressing high, and you like to build out of the back. Sometimes at Yankee Stadium in particular, there's been some issues with that because the territory is a little bit smaller. How do you anticipate that going?
It's going to be really difficult for us to build up and play from the back because, of course, of the size of the stadium first, and secondly because the players that they have up front, they are quite really fast to close you down. They've got good pace and they are quite really aggressive. So we have to make a quicker decision, and we may have to go a little bit longer than we are used to, and maybe try to be a little bit more direct, especially the first 15-20 minutes.
When you look at your starting 11, just one change. David Villa is healthy this week. He's back in for Ugo Akoli. And the one to mark is Yangel Herrera, the 19-year-old, is starting again in place of Andrea Pirlo. So obviously what you saw last week translates into him being in the lineup today. Yeah,
I think I was really happy with the game that he played. He's not just about the goal he scored, but the physicality that he's bringing to the team. And I think the balance for that game in Columbus was important, and he had a good game. And I think when you look at the team that we are going to face today, I think it makes sense to start with Yangel. I think it will be really important for us to be really aggressive, to defend well, and this is the reason why I decided to go with Yangel today.
Highly praised would be an understatement in terms of Herrera, his performance, and what's been written and spoken about him. Last year when Jack Harrison emerged, you were reluctant to really talk too much about that aspect of him because you wanted him to stay grounded. You feel the same way with Herrera, or is it different?
Yeah, I think he's the same. He's a young kid who have a really good potential. We give him time to adapt to the country, to adapt to the language, to adapt to the game as well. He was doing really well in training. He played some part of the game, and we give him the first start against Columbus, and he did really well. So we have to look after him really well. I'm quite a little bit disappointed because that will be his last game, because he's going to go to the national team, and we're going to be without him for a long period. And that is, I think, not the good news for us. But that's the way it is, and he's going to come back. But it will be important for us to keep working with him on and off the field because he's got talent.
Yeah, he's leaving for the U20s, for Venezuela, and it looks like he would miss a minimum of 4 games no matter what happens there. I think he could fly in on the Saturday and you play on the Sunday, but your tendency is not to play somebody after that.
No, because we're looking after the players as well. It's not going to make sense to fly him on the Saturday and make him play the game on the Sunday. He will be playing a lot of games with the national team, so we'll need to give him time to recover, and then we're going to work with him and try to get the best of him again.
If you're on the outside looking in, Andrea Pirlo substituted 5 consecutive matches, then now is on the bench for the second straight match, and you get the feeling that there might be a changing of the guard here.
No, not at all. I think Andrea is, of course, not happy because he wants to play. And I think if a player like him still play at this age and he still play at this level, is the love of the game that he had. And, when you look at Sean, Hugo played really well against Columbus. He's not in the starting 11 today. Of course he's not happy. Tommy is not in the 18. He's not happy. RJ is not in the 18. He's not happy. So that is something that as a manager, as a coach, I have to live with, and I don't expect players to be happy about the decision that I'm making, because that is a part of the game, and it's normal. But Andrea, like all the other one, they are massively part of what we try to do. It's going to be a long season, and I will need everybody to be fit, to be fresh, and to play. So I will make some rotation because the season is really long.
Patrick, thank you so much. Bon chance against Atlanta United.
Merci beaucoup.
Patrick Vieira, head coach of New York City FC. When we return, starting lineups and the kickoff. You're listening to New York City FC Soccer on 101.9 FM Sports Radio and Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
You know, moving is never fun, especially during soccer season. But OD Household Services makes it cheaper and easier. OD drops off a trailer that you load yourself. Then OD delivers it to your new address when you want it. You only pay for the space you use. And OD does all of the driving. Schedule your easy and affordable home move now at odmove.com/WFAN. That's odmove.com/WFAN. OD Household Services, official partner of the New York City Football Club Radio Network.
This is Morgan Freeman, executive producer of the documentary The C Word. And I'm here to tell you that defeating cancer takes breakthroughs. A breakthrough is the start of something extraordinary. You, the patients, taking part in clinical trials. You, the scientists, doing next-level research to beat cancer. You, the doctors who care for everyone. Let's be the breakthrough.
To learn about screenings and clinical trials, go to standuptocancer.org/breakthrough. Please talk to your healthcare provider about appropriate screenings and clinical trials.
The Fan, Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN, WFAN FM, New York.
Light rain falling at Yankee Stadium. Starting lineups first for the visiting Atlanta United. 3 wins, 3 losses, and a pair of draws. In goal, Alec Can. And the back line out of this 4-3-3, left to right, Greg Garza, Leandro Gonzalez-Perez, Michael Parkhurst, and Tyrone Mears. In the midfield, it'll be Julian Gressel, Carlos Carmona, and Jeff Laurentowicz. And up top, Miguel Almiron, Kenwin Jones, and Hector Tito Villalba. For New York City FC, in goal, it'll be Sean Johnson. Left to right, out of the 4-3-3, Ben Sweat, Alexander Collins, Maxime Chenot, and Ethan White. In the midfield, Yangel Herrera, Alex Ring, Maxi Moralez, and up top, it'll be Rodney Wallace, David Villa, and Jack Harrison. New York City FC, 4 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. They are 2-1-1 here at Yankee Stadium. While on the road, Atlanta United has excelled. They have 2 wins, a loss, and 2 draws, and have scored 12 goals in those 5 road games. They are notable in that over the first 15 minutes of the game, they have scored 6 times this season, and we are underway. Atlanta in their home red with black trim. New York City wearing the powder blue jerseys with white shorts, and right at the halfway line, an early foul called, and putting it back into play for Atlanta United very quickly is Carmona. Perez looking to play into the midfield. It's stolen by Harrison, who would drop back to defend. Here's Maxi Moralez slipping through to Villa. Villa puts it across, and Wallace nearly opened the scoring inside the first minute, but for a fine defensive play by Michael Parkhurst.
Yeah, I think that David Villa just strayed half a yard offside. It was a late flag from the linesman, but he certainly gave it. But it was a wonderful counter-attacking break sprung by Jack Harrison in the middle of the pitch. It's a great early start for NYCFC. We know that Atlanta are predominantly the team who start early. We know they've got 6 goals in the opening 15 minutes of games leading up to now. We know they start fast. We heard Patrick Vieira's interview as well, saying that his side can't play out the back too much in the opening period of the game. They're going to go from back to front a little bit quicker. They can't invite that early pressure from Atlanta United.
That was Joe Fletcher, the assistant referee, who flagged Villa offsides. On the opposite side, Brian Dunn. In the middle, Ismail Elfath. This is his 89th career MLS match. New York City 0-2 in matches officiated by Elfath. Atlanta United, Kenwin Jones, triple team just inside the area to the right of the D, and it's taken away by Moralez. Finds Ethan White along the right flank. He clips a ball down the wing to Jack Harrison. Harrison trying to control, defended there by Perez. Ball loose in the midfield, taken by Yangel Herrera, coming off the 1-goal, 1-assist performance against Columbus. A nice dink from Harrison into Villa, and a hard tackle by Perez on Villa. Corner kick, New York City FC.
It's a wonderful covering tackle from Gonzalez Perez, the left-sided centre-half for Atlanta United. That's twice now that Villa sprung that offside trap. Once he did get caught offside, so this second time he has sprung the offside trap. Great covering tackle from Perez. First corner of the game to NYCFC.
Corner kick. Jack Harrison plays it short to Maxi Moralez. The overlap by Harrison here along the near touchline is deflected out. Strong tackle by Jeff Laurentowicz. Laurentowicz, Carmona, Gressel make up that midfield three for Atlanta United. And Ethan White comes up to take the throw into Maxi Moralez. He's hugging the near sideline about 15 yards from the corner flag, and eventually it's deflected out. Last touched by the Argentine Moralez, who was teammates with Carmona at Atalanta for 5 seasons. So they'll be certainly battling it out. Carmona, known for his physical play. We'll see how often he manipulates that sort of game against Moralez, who plays negative to Alexander Collins, finding Rodney Wallace, who had checked into the midfield. Wallace in 2 touches back to Ring. Ring at the midfield line. He slips, but he is able to play it backwards to Alexander Collins, who elects to go all the way back to Johnson. Here's a long service from Johnson, about 3/4 of the field covered. Villa giving chase. Parkhurst is there as well, and the offside flag is up once again on David Villa.
Yeah, that's the second time in quick succession that David Villa has been caught offside, twice in the opening 4 minutes. I don't think Villa will mind that, nor will Patrick Vieira, the NYCFC head coach. Villa is doing very well. He knows there's space in behind that Atlanta United back line. He sprung the offside trap once, been caught offside twice, but he won't mind that. When the chance arises, he's there and he's willing to run in behind. And the NYCFC, his teammates, they know that.
The 9th and 10th offside violations on Villa this year. Ball played through by New York City all the way back to Alec Can. Can, he was signed as a backup, really. That was his expectation as well, but he's been the number 1 keeper, as Atlanta United had Sean Johnson for less than a day. They had acquired Johnson from Chicago, and then later that same day, draft day, Johnson was traded here to New York City FC to be the number 1 keeper in place of the departed Josh Saunders, who is now back up at Orlando City. Almiron comes back into the midfield to gather it in. He turns and now pivots away. Ball all the way back to Can. David Villa putting some pressure, as well as Yangel Herrera. And Perez does well to accelerate past Herrera, but then serves long, intended for Villalba, and that was easily taken away by Collins. Now here's a looping ball towards the far sideline, and it's over the head of Maxi Moralez and into touch.
I think early on, Glenn, I think both sides are a little wary of each other's pressing ability. Both sides have gone from back to front reasonably quickly. We don't often see that, certainly not from NYCFC's point of view. But as I say, we heard in that interview with Patrick Vieira, he knew that that's how Atlanta wanted to play. And he's taken that side of their game out of them early on in the proceedings here.
Gressel, the German, loses the ball to Herrera, but then Herrera gives it right back. Carlos Carmona, the 30-year-old Chilean. Carmona playing a ball deep down the right sideline. He was right in the middle of the field, center circle, and he drove one with the right foot, but well past Villalba. So it'll be a goal kick, and New York City will set up in their big shape, and Johnson plays it to his left to Collins. The left footer will serve one all the way into the Atlanta United end. And again, unusual. That's normally a spot where New York City would build. It's taken away on the second ball by Atlanta. On one hop, Chanot heads it out of the area, intended for Kenwin Jones. That service from Laurentowicz. And the ball back up in the air, and Laurentowicz now is chasing it down in his own end. Back pass, it was Villa who anticipated that, and Can had to come out of his area to clear it away, or Villa may have caught it before Can could have received it inside the penalty box. Now the ball in the air, consecutive head balls, and now a great possession header, really a penetrating header by Alex Ring along the left wing to Rodney Wallace. It's deflected out by Tyrone Mears. Here's a service in the area, going high for the challenge, Jack Harrison, along with Greg Garza, and that's a matchup that we want to watch closely. Harrison versus Garza. Garza heads it out for the corner.
Yeah, and it's wonderful play from Jack Harrison on the back post. Wasn't overly going for the ball, more just pressuring Greg Garza, forcing Garza to knock that behind for a corner kick to NYCFC.
Maxi Moralez over the ball. Harrison showing short to his left. Moralez holds up his right arm, so this will be something set. Some picks certainly being... And now the turn, and the shot by Chenot is blocked by Can. A great save. It was a kick save. It was a second ball that Chenot was able to gobble up, and that was inside the 6, right in front of Can. A reaction save for the Atlanta United keeper.
Yeah, Can's done very, very well. Maxime Chenot's turned beautifully on the edge of the 6-yard box. Just toe poked to the ball goalward, but Alec Carney spread himself very well. And as you said, Glenn, just saved that with an outstretched leg. It's a great save from point-blank range.
Can is the 26-year-old, a local product, Decatur, Georgia. With a left foot, Almiron looks to reverse the ball, and it's intercepted by Chenot. Ring has it, plays a first-time ball through to Harrison. Harrison can't save it along the near sideline, and kicks the ball away out of frustration, but just a few yards, so no booking there.
I thought it was a great pass from Alexander Ring, straight into the path of Jack Harrison. His first touch just took the ball off the pitch. Quite unfortunate there, but a lovely first-time pass from Alex Ring.
And here's Ben Sweat looking to chase Villalba. Villalba is in, but Sean Johnson off his line well. It's a goal kick. Johnson, as the ball ended up over the goal line, but last touch by Villalba, according to Ismail Elfath, at least that was his original signal. The mechanics, he pointed to the goal line, but now it's a corner kick for Atlanta United.
Yeah, the linesman definitely awarded a goal kick. I think the referees overruled him and given the first corner of the match to Atlanta United, from their point of view anyway. It's a good play from Sean Johnson.
They'll send 2 players in, outswinger, and Greg Garza, far corner of the box, ends up gathering it in, and then he loses it off the pressure of Alexander Ring. Goal kick for New York City.
Once again, Greg Garza's gone over very easily. I've noticed it this season, watching an awful lot of Atlanta United. Greg Garza does have a tendency to go to ground very easy. There's a little bit of contact between Alex Ring and Greg Garza. No need for Garza to go down. The referee didn't think it was a foul either and just awarded the goal kick to NYCFC.
Perhaps the Club Tijuana influence. Garza on loan, the Mexican-American, part of the U.S. men's national team. Here's Yangel Herrera off the feed from White. Angles to the left. Trying to find Maxi Moralez, and Laurentowicz read that well and stepped in front. Ball loose. Second ball taken by Jack Harrison. He faces Ring, and Ring, with a lot of congestion, says, look, let's just play it back to Sean Johnson and rebuild, and that's what they're doing. Ben Sweat getting his second consecutive start, his second appearance at MLS. And that's a giveaway, though, by Sweat. Here's Atlanta along the far sideline, the right sideline, as Atlanta United moving right to left. The 5 stripes, as they are called, and that's, you can see the front of their jersey. They have 5 black stripes. It's another corner kick for Atlanta United, off the giveaway by Sweat.
Yeah, I think Sweat just put an outstretched leg out on Julian Gressel, just committed a free kick just on the edge of the 18-yard box, more to the right-hand side. Sweat did give the ball away initially, and then it was a late lunging challenge on the German Julian Gressel, the rookie, 4 years at Providence University.
And it's in a position that could provide a bit of a hassle for Sean Johnson in goal, just to the right side of the box. And here's the curler, and it's just wide. Miguel Almiron, the left footer. Gressel all over it as well on the right peg, and it was Almiron, who's playing a left wing today out of a 4-3-3. He's also played the number 10 role out of a 4-2-3-1. Tata Martino is willing to play him most anywhere, and that didn't miss by much, Matt.
No, it certainly didn't. It was a great strike on goal. Didn't quite get the target. Didn't quite hit the target.
Here's Villa driving now on the back line. Ball across by Rodney Wallace in search of Jack Harrison, and another good defensive play by Gonzalez Perez to knock it out. And the ball eventually across the far touchline. Throw in for New York City. Villa, edge of the box. Works a 1-2 with Rodney Wallace. Anticipating it well, though, Tyrone Mears, the veteran out of England. Well, that's where he played a majority of his matches in his career, over 200 matches in England. Tyrone Mears, the right back.
Yeah, played a lot of games in the northwest of England. Played for Preston, played for Burnley. Started off as a youth team player at Manchester City.
And he's got a real unusual story. There was documentation that he was a Jamaican and played for their national team. It turned out he was actually Sierra Leonean, and it prevented him from having any chance of playing for the England national team. It was he's a dual citizen, but under unusual circumstances was eliminated from the England program.
Yeah, he certainly fitted into MLS very well. Had a good couple of seasons at Seattle. Played all bar a couple of games in the last 2 seasons for Seattle Sounders.
And that was after a bad broken leg when he was at Bolton in 2011. He comes back 4 years later. He plays the most minutes of any player for Seattle. That's Tyrone Mears. Mears will throw in. Far touchline, about 10 yards inside his own area. Inside his own half of the field. Mears looking. By the time he did the run-up, he was past the halfway line, and the ball overshoots everyone and just bounces to the feet of Sean Johnson, and he gives up to Maxime Chanot. 14 minutes in, and there are no goals scored yet in this one. A game where we anticipated where there might be quite a few tallies. 2 of the top scoring teams in MLS going at it. I'm Glenn Crooks along with Matt Lawrence on WFAN, and we want to welcome our listeners at Sirius XMFC Channel 85. Atlanta United with a throw-in now in the New York City end, and it'll be Garza about 20 yards inside the city end. And he finally finds a target. It was Almiron, right back to Garza. Garza finds Perez, the left center back, and he drives the ball into the New York City end and meets up with Harrison and Herrera. It's knocked out of play again, throw in for Garza. The game has slowed down a bit early on. The pace of the match and certainly the way both teams were playing, very direct, unusual for New York City FC. Herrera clips a pass down the right wing intended for Maxi Moralez. Perez was there. Perez thus far has looked very solid at the back for Atlanta United. They gave up 3 last week to DC United. That's the first game this year where they've allowed more than 2 goals in a match. Almiron, edge of the center circle, loses it on the double team. It's Villa coming away with it. He's trying to slip Rodney Wallace, who had bent his run to the right, but it was deflected away by Parkhurst and now cleared by Can. And here's Alex Ring back with it for New York City. Ahead to Moralez. And converging on Moralez, Mears serves one down the sideline for Villalba. And you wouldn't say there's much rhythm to this game right now. Parkhurst plays one right at halfway to Almiron. He works a nice 1-2 with Kenwin Jones. Now flicks the ball into the overlapping Garza. Garza, left edge of the box. He'll put it across with a left peg, and it's headed away, but not clear by Alexander Collins. And it's Carmona keeping it in the New York City area, poking it wide for Villalba. Villalba plays negative to Laurentowicz, and now he loses the ball to Villa, and then clips Villa as Villa looks to make a move to the left sideline.
Just starting to liven up a little bit at the moment. Glenn, isn't it? It has been, you used the word congested, and it has been very congested in the middle third of the park in that opening quarter of an hour. I think that's down to both coaches and both teams giving each other a lot of respect. You mentioned it, that NYCFC are going from back to front awfully quickly, certainly very unlike them. It's because they've got that respect for Atlanta, who start so quickly in the opening proceedings of games. Already mentioned, scored 6 goals in the opening quarter of an hour of games. NYCFC are now past that patch, and I think the footballing ability will now come to the fore. I think both sides are showing each other respect. Here comes the football ability.
And Villa in the area, shoots and scores with the right foot. And a nice combination for New York City FC. And Villa found a seam in the defense, and he dribbled into the area. And then with the inside of the right foot, managed to get it past Can. It clanged off the inside of the right post and nestled into the net. New York City 1 and Atlanta nothing.
Talk about football ability, and that's all it was from David Villa. Sprinted away from a couple of Atlanta United defensive midfielders, took the ball unopposed into the 18-yard box and struck the ball so sweetly with the inside of his right foot, smashed off the far right post and went over the line and into the back of the net. That's a terrific finish from David Villa.
For David Villa, goal number 6 on the year. And Villa getting a great layoff from Rodney Wallace. Good football, New York City FC. Really their most positive possession of the match, and it results in a goal to put them up on top by 1. That goal coming in the 18th minute. It's New York City. Atlanta, they're the team that is normally dominated in the early stages of the game, and that's part of why Patrick Vieira wanted to come out very strong and very powerful and try to take control of those first 15 minutes.
I think that was wise from Patrick Vieira. He spoke long and hard about that to us in the pre-match interview, about the fact that he would be going from back to front quickly, was taking out any grey areas from the back four, telling them not to play out of the back like they normally do. They've seen out the first 15 minutes, and almost immediately after that first quarter of an hour they struck, and what a tremendous finish from David Villa. You wouldn't expect anything less from him. His first sight on goal, and he absolutely fires it into the back of the net. And you said it as well, it's a great layoff from Rodney Wallace, Glenn.
So Villa last week stayed back at the hotel at Columbus. He made the trip because he had felt better on the Friday, but then woke up Saturday morning not so good. Jack Harrison took charge, scoring 2, the 19-year-old Herrera the other. And now Villa opens the scoring, the reigning MLS MVP. And it should be noted that Ben Sweat, again involved in that attack. Villa started it. Sweat knocked it down with the head to Rodney Wallace, who one-timed a ball into Villa, who split the defense. Here's Villa on the run again. He's looking to chip Can, and it's reminiscent of at Philadelphia. Probably not quite the distance, but the same intent, and it went wide left, or he may have had him.
David Villa always has that eye for goal. I think he'd just seen out the corner of his eye that Alec Khan was a good 10 yards off his line. Didn't trub Alec Khan in the Atlanta United goal. David Villa did hold both hands up because he had Harrison to his right-hand side free. He had Rodney Wallace on the left-hand side, but why not go for it? He's done it once this season, Glenn. Why not go for it again?
That 53-yard goal, which didn't even win MLS Goal of the Week, sealed a game against Philadelphia, the 2-0 win against the Union, who won their first of the year in dominant fashion over the New York Red Bulls. C.J. Sapong with a hat-trick and a 3-0 win at Talent Energy Stadium. So Atlanta United with Almiron now in control, working his way back towards his own goal. He's in the New York City end between the circles. Now to Laurentowicz and wide to Tyrone Mears. Mears dribbling sideways from right to left, and he toe pokes a ball wide, which Greg Garza trying to chase down, and he heels it off the shin of Ethan White, so Garza draws the throw.
Yeah, did well there, Garza. He's running out of pitch, but he knew he had White just in behind him, so he backheeled it onto him. Very, very smart play from Greg Garza.
About midway into the New York City end, the throw-in comes near sideline. Changing the point is Julian Gressel. with a back of square ball to Michael Parkhurst, the weak side center back. He pushes one out wide to Villalba. Villalba working against Rodney Wallace. See, Rodney Wallace, the left wing out of a 4-3-3. He's back near his penalty box defending against Villalba. And now a foul called against Villalba, so it'll be a free kick for New York.
Yeah, poor challenge from Hector Villalba on the far right-hand side. Just caught Maxi Moralez a little bit too late. Referee Ismail Elfath was right there on the spot and correctly awarded the free kick to NYCFC.
In 88 matches, Elfath, 273 yellow cards, 18 red cards. That's not inordinate. Here's a ball through Herrera making the run out of the midfield. Too much on it from David Villa, a little bit heavy, and can easily off his line to pick that up. And now as New York City retreats, he'll roll it out to Parkhurst. Parkhurst finding Almiron right in the middle of the center circle, but the first touch evaded Almiron, but he's managed to recover again, has the ball now along the left sideline, trying to work a combination game with Garza. It's tapped out of bounds by Harrison. Atlanta still has it with Garza, and Garza cannot control as the ball was played quite firmly from Carmona, and Garza muffed it out of play. You mentioned the congestion. We both did really early on, and both coaches have talked about the size of the field. Now, Patrick, yes, it's a small field. Wallace on the ball between the circles. Back to Herrera. First time through to Moralez, but can again off his line to stymie that attack. But you're going to get a little more congestion, you would think, in a field that's 70 yards wide.
Yeah, you certainly are. And the way the two teams play as well, really, with three men in the middle of midfield. That's almost six players within the centre circle at times.
Counter-attacking Atlanta. Gressel leads the attack out wide to Mears. Mears puts in a right-footed cross. The intended target, Kenwin Jones, but it carries over Jones, and the man guarding him, Maxime Chenot. It's a goal kick for New York City.
Yeah, it's the one thing that Atlanta United do very well. Both fullbacks attack at once. We saw Greg Garza there just at the back post as Tyrone Mears, the right back, he's crossing the ball. But yeah, Kenwin Jones, certainly a huge figure to be aiming for. Tyrone Mears has got to do better than that.
Well, you know what my favorite goals are? From one fullback to the other fullback.
Yeah, and it was interesting to note Patrick Vieira saying that he wasn't willing to let his fullbacks do that today because of the style of play that Atlanta United do like to play. They like to get forward a lot. He wants his fullbacks. If one fullback goes, the other one stays with the two centre halves and the holding midfielder, Alexander Ring. He doesn't want to get hit on the counter.
This time the pressing New York City wins the ball in the Atlanta third. Here's Villa, first time shot off the feet from Moralez. Villa, left edge of the 6-yard box with a left foot, couldn't get much on it, and Can went down to make what was a reasonably easy save.
Yeah, comfortable save for Can, but what you are noticing, Glenn, is that every time NYCFC are in the attacking third, they seem to be getting a shot. It's not always on target, but they're certainly breaking through this Atlanta United backline awfully easily at the moment.
David Villa scored his 6th goal of the year in the 18th minute, and New York City leads Atlanta United 1-0. Right at the edge of the circle on his side of the pitch is Carlos Carmona. Carmona has represented Chile in the last 2 World Cups. Now the ball wide. Almiron is covering a lot of acreage, which is the norm for him. The setup here is a 4-3-3. Almiron listed as the left wing, and he's all the way back on the right side, getting the ball off the fullback's feet.
I think that's full credit to NYCFC. I think it's because he's not getting the ball in that position. It's forcing him to drop deeper and deeper. He's the type of technical player who wants to get on the ball. He's almost going onto the toes of his two centre halves, Parkhurst and Perez, and taking the ball off them.
Parkhurst looking for something forward. Didn't see anything that he figured would generate a forward attack, so it's all the way back to the keeper, Can. Can opens up and plays it to his left to Perez. Gressel along the near left touchline in his end. Looks to poke it forward to Garza. Then the ball squirts loose and a late challenge by Gressel. So a foul called, and Maxi Moralez will get over the ball. And this is where Moralez is very dangerous as well. On the set pieces, the accuracy of his service. when to put pace on it, bend on it, chip it. We'll see what he comes up with here. He's about 40 yards out to the right of goal. Maxime Chenot now is coming up from his center back spot. Chenot looking for his first. He's had a number of opportunities. He's certainly someone who is dominant in the air, but has been really troubled in trying to put it under the bar. Wide right is Jack Harrison. Now a ball played on the deck intended for Villa. Villa, after Garza goes down to tackle Villa, now the foul. So Garza went down initially, and Villa had already gained control of it, and then Garza scrambled out to get Villa just outside the area and took him down.
I think that's really smart play from David Villa. Wasn't overly going anywhere, but he felt Greg Garza coming, just put his right foot in between the ball and Greg Garza, forcing Garza to make contact with him. Villa goes over easily and wins a free kick in a really dangerous position. It's great centre-forward play from David Villa.
Well, Andrea Pirlo, throughout his time at New York City FC, he would be taking this free kick. But now it's Villa and Harrison over the ball. You might pick the left-footed Harrison coming off a 2-goal effort, has scored 3 in his last 2. Let's see who takes it. It'll be Villa, and he puts it well over the bar. Didn't hit it the way he would like. So, scoring opportunity by the wayside for New York City.
Yeah, experience against innocence there over the ball. Villa obviously called off the youngster Jack Harrison, but I think that certainly favoured a left-footed free kick taker, and therefore Jack Harrison, Villa's effort went a good 5-10 yards over the crossbar. Poor effort by his high standards.
Villa has scored 2 off of set pieces. Both of them came in 2015 before the arrival of Andrea Pirlo, who's taken a majority of them since. Here's Gressel now, sliding tackle effort by Ring. Gressel avoids that, and the shot is just wide left. And that was Villalba, who came into the center of the park in 2 touches. Quick release on a right-footed shot, and a whistle past the far post.
Yeah, very little backlift at all from Villalba. Really strikes through the ball. Had Sean Johnson sprawling to his right-hand side, but I think he had that covered all the way. Just dived to make sure, just in case there was any swerve on the ball at the last moment.
But more on that Villa take, too. Those 2 goals that Villa scored, Matt, were to the left side of the goal, where it would favor the right-footed player. And on this occasion, I think we both expected Harrison, especially the fact that he's scored a couple. But, you know, you've got the leading scorer in MLS since he arrived in 2015, David Villa, now with 48 goals. Here's Harrison, free on the left wing. This is the matchup we desired against Garza. Garza hits the deck, and now a poke tackle by Perez. And taking down Harrison. You heard the Yankee Stadium faithful. No call from Elfath. And a good, strong tackle by Alex Ring to Harrison. Back to Ring. Herrera now on the ball, and he's held by Carlos Carmona. And so just inside the Atlanta end to the right of the center circle, New York City with a free kick.
I really like Alexander Ring, Glenn. He covers so much ground, makes an awful lot of interceptions, puts in a number of tackles, and just allows the more technically gifted players like Maxi Moralez and Herrera, who's in the side right now, to get on the ball. When he wins the ball back, he just passes it 4 or 5 yards simple into those 2 guys.
Chenot into the area for Villa, who settles with his right foot, has his back to the goal. He's still in the box, turns and fires a left-footed service that's deflected out for a corner kick. So the far corner flag to our right. New York City here in the first half. They're attacking left to right. They'll get another corner kick, their 3rd of the game. Maxi Moralez. Again, this is something that Pirlo, his duty is to take the corner for the most part. It's Moralez who has taken over those chores, again, for the most part. Occasionally, Jack Harrison will take it on the right side to get that lefty in-swinger. Now it's the right-footed Moralez. David Villa, he's positioned inside the 6, about 3 yards away from Alacan. Kenwin Jones is zoning in there. Villa now leaves the 6, so this is a rehearsed play. Moralez will put it in with a bend. Chenot is the target, and there's a player down. It's Michael Parkhurst, though evidently he was planted to the deck by we think, Yangel Herrera, the 19-year-old. And sure enough, Herrera clattered into him during the course of that take.
It was a play that obviously set up. Maxi Moralez put his arm in the air. We knew they were going to, it was almost like a basketball screen, but it was so obvious from Herrera, who's just bulldozed over the Atlanta United centre half and right in front of the referee. It was an easy call for the ref to make.
Matt, you were talking about Alexander Ring earlier and your appreciation for Ring. It turned out Patrick Vieira went to a New York Rangers hockey game, one of the playoff games, and he said that Matt Zuccarello was his favorite player. He called him an Alexander Ring on ice. So you know why he's his favorite player. Strong two-way, tough.
Exactly, and very similar to Patrick Vieira himself. Patrick Vieira was more technically gifted than Alexander Ring, that's for certain. But Patrick Vieira played on both sides of the ball, as Alex Ring does.
All right, Ben Sweat has it. Plays it square for Ring. That was nearly picked off by Carmona. Now Maxi Moralez picks up a loose ball. He's in the Atlanta end. Right-footed, he pushes out to Sweat. Sweat will find David Villa, who's been very active here in the first half after a week off. Villa now fighting along with Leandro Gonzalez-Perez. They were just outside the penalty box to the right. And Villa ends up, as you can tell, we are at Yankee Stadium, and the supporters favored Villa on that as he was called on the foul.
Yeah, and just watching that again on our monitor, I tend to agree with David Villa. I thought Perez was the one who committed the initial foul, put his right forearm out and pushed David Villa over. Referee hasn't seen it that way and given the free kick the other way.
And Cam plays it deep into the New York City end. Kenwin Jones picks up the second ball. He's been quiet here. The 6'4" Trinidadian, who has scored 23 goals in 81 games for TNT. And Matt, I'm interested in getting your take because you defended against him in England.
Yeah, I played against him a number of times when he was at Stoke City predominantly. And he's a real handful. That when he was slightly more mobile than he is now. You mentioned that he's not been in the game a lot. That's because he's reliant on service. They haven't put the ball into his chest. You can't get round him. As a centre half, you just can't get round him.
And coming in very late on Maxime Chanot was Greg Garza. And now Garza will be booked by Ismail Elfath. This happened in the New York City end as New York City was looking to build, and Garza, reading that moment to pressurize, came in late on Chanot.
Yeah, I think it may have been Julian Gressel, Glenn, there, number 14. He did come in very, very late. I don't like the challenge whatsoever from Gressel, but what I do like from Gressel is that he's a rookie. He doesn't mind what's going on out there on the pitch. He doesn't mind how experienced players are. For a young lad, he's really fitted in very well to that Atlanta United side. But that was a poor late challenge. He's just caught the follow-through of Maxime Chanot. And it's a good decision from the referee, Ismail Elfath. It's a definite yellow card.
It is Gressel getting booked in the 34th minute. Gressel from Germany, but made his mark here in the States as a collegiate player at Providence College. The Big East Offensive Player of the Year in his senior season, and drafted 8th overall by Atlanta United in the MLS Super Draft.
And it's unusual to see a rookie as well fitting straight into a side, certainly a side of the stature of Atlanta United. They've had a great season so far, and he's really been part of it. You mentioned it, offensive play. He doesn't play quite like that for Atlanta United, but 30 goals, 26 assists in his 83 games for Providence. I know college soccer, so he's not quite the same level, obviously, as MLS, but he's really fitted in very well here.
Rodney Wallace just dragged down Jeff Laurentowicz, who was trying to dribble out of the penalty box, his own penalty box, and Wallace on the wrong side of him. David Villa's 17th minute goal. That's been all we've had. Villa now trying to slip Rodney Wallace after a turnover along the left sideline. And it's the New York City pressure. If you had to compare, the New York City pressure is giving Atlanta a lot more problems than the Atlanta pressure against City.
I think the opening goal from Villa has allowed NYCFC to really press high. The shackles are off, so to speak. They got over that 15-minute opening period that we spoke about. I know we're worried, or NYCFC, Patrick Vieira is worried about the Atlanta counter-attack, but at the moment they're not letting Atlanta get on the ball whatsoever. The back four's pushing up very high, defending almost just within the Atlanta United's half, and only the Atlanta United half. I think it's really well played from NYCFC so far.
We're in the 37th minute. 1-0 New York City against the expansion side, Atlanta United, who have performed more than admirably in their initial season. Certainly New York City all too well remembers 2015. Harrison saves it along the near sideline. Double team, sweeps it across the top of the box, and chasing down is Rodney Wallace to Villa. Wallace makes a run inside the area. Villa now isolated against Laurentowicz. Finds Wallace, back to Villa. The play broken up by Gressel. And Gressel, looking to come out with it, maintains control, and now Almiron. And that would be, I would think, an intentional foul by Ethan White on Almiron, and we heard Patrick Vieira talk about that as well. The way to prevent the counterattack is to commit a foul.
And it was. I think that you shouldn't really be saying it's great play, but it really was a good foul from Ethan White. Let's put it that way. Did well not to get away with it. He got away with rather a yellow card as well. Perfect for me. Almiron is the top quality technical player on this Atlanta side. If you let him pick his head up, he will have picked a pass. Instead, Ethan White brings him down in that centre circle. I think that's exactly what his head coach, Patrick Vieira, would have wanted.
Well, there are some who would object to that line of thinking and call that negative football. However, in this case, Almiron, and really, when you look at Atlanta, they have a number of personalities who like to be on the ball and take players on, and knowing that their counterattack is lethal at times, and that's certainly one of the ways to prevent a team from going quickly in the other direction. It's frustrating, though, also for Atlanta. They've got a throw-in right now, deep in the New York City and far touchline. Atlanta moving right to left here in the first half in the road red with their 5 stripes of black. The target off the throw. Here's the shot and a goal as Kenwyne Jones knocked it down, and the finish for Atlanta United to tie this game up in the 39th minute.
That is one heck of a strike from Carmona. It really is. Kenwyne Jones has knocked it down to him on the edge of the 18-yard box. He's met the ball almost on the half volley, and Carmona has absolutely smashed that into the back of the net. Nothing Sean Johnson can do. Bounced again, similar to Villa's, bounced off the far right-hand post and into the back of the net. That is some finish.
And the dimensions at Yankee Stadium certainly assisted. The long throw by Mears into the big target at 6'4", Jones knocks it down with the head to Carmona, and what a finish. Maxi Moralez worked hard to try to get in between Carmona and the goal. We're all tied at 1. And now Rodney Wallace and Ethan White. White managing to win the ball deep in the Atlanta end here along the near sideline by the corner flag. Garza was there, so was Carmona, and eventually it goes out for an Atlanta goal kick.
Well, we saw Villa's strike on target. He hit the ball so sweetly, but Carmona's one-upped him. That was such a sweet strike from Carmona. I said initially on the half volley, that was almost on the volley. The ball bounced, he met it on the volley. It's a wonderful finish.
And Carmona scoring his first MLS goal. Played over 150 matches for Atalanta and Regina in Serie A. A couple of World Cups for Chile. Copa America. 30 years old, Carlos Carmona. And really his job mostly is to do a lot of the dirty work in the midfield, set things up for players like Almiron, and now trying to squeeze his way through on the dribble was Villalba, and he's limping heavily. That was Gressel and not Villalba Gressel we've seen a lot along the left sideline. Now he's in that inside right channel and accelerated on the dribble and drew the foul, splitting a couple of New York City defenders. So it's a free kick, angled right, about 35 yards out. So this is one that's always difficult for the goalkeepers to judge. Ben Sweat got the first touch on Gressel. Alexander Collins was there as well. Really thought Sweat might struggle with Villalba on that right side of the Atlanta attack. It was Gressel here. Here's Almiron with the in-swinger, and it is deflected out by Kenwyne Jones. He was the target, and it landed after Jones deflected it just inside the 6 and moved its way beyond the back post. So New York City has a goal kick. They'll play it short to Collins. The ball from Johnson actually never left the penalty box, so it'll be a do-over. How often do you say that in soccer?
Yeah, you don't see that too often, but I think it was Collins did the right thing there by taking the ball from the goal kick just inside the penalty area, which you're not allowed to do because he's being closed down very heavily and very quickly by Villalba.
Atlanta wins the first ball off the head of Laurentowicz to put it back into the New York City end. And it's poked out by Villalba. New York City throw and taken quickly by Ben Sweat. Goes back to Collins. Collins looking to send a ball upfield for Villa. Misses Villa, but the second ball taken by Maxi Moralez, and then Moralez taken down heavily by Michael Parkhurst, who is booked. So that's our second disciplinary action of the game. Gressel got a yellow earlier, and now his teammate Parkhurst is in the books.
Yeah, we talk about cynical fouls, and this one was very much like that from Michael Parkhurst. He prevented the quick break. Moralez was about to lay the ball out to the right-hand side to Jack Harrison, who's breaking on Greg Garza, but Michael Parkhurst just broke that up, received the yellow card.
What a great pickup by Atlanta United, acquiring Parkhurst from the Columbus Crew SC. And you have to wonder what Columbus was thinking with that transaction. Nonetheless, he was 3 seasons at Columbus and 4 years with the New England Revolution to start his professional career, with several years in between at Denmark and Germany. Here's a delivery by Jack Harrison. Ball still loose, and the ball shot wide by Rodney Wallace. Harrison with the right foot. Normally we do not see a right-footed service from Harris along this right sideline. He'll usually cut it back and deliver with the left. And the ball was planted on the ground just outside the 6. A number of players surrounded it, and Wallace eventually got his left peg on it. It was deflected, so it's a corner kick for New York City. Maxi Moralez from the far corner holds both arms up. Villa, again, was inside the 6, and now he darts outside of the 6-yard box and now is standing. And there's some discussion, as will often happen. The referee Elfath talking to the players. Here's Maxi Moralez, a driven ball. The target is Villa on the back side of the penalty area. Villa with a scissor shot, and it's saved by Alec Cam on the front post.
He loves those opportunities to face up, go one-on-one with his centre halves. This time it was Parkhurst. Steps over the ball with his right foot, takes it onto his left foot, whips it goalward, just inside the near post of Alec Khan's goal, but Khan moves to his left-hand side and gathers the ball comfortably.
We had a great angle on that off the replay. If Villa had bent that to the back bar, it would have had a better chance. Villa has the lone New York City goal today. It's 1-1, and we're now in stoppage time. Glenn Crooks and Matt Lawrence live from Yankee Stadium. Glad to have you with us. Just 1 minute of stoppage time, so this half will come to an end shortly. Villa off a 1-2 gets it to Sweat. Sweat tries to find Moralez, top of the D. Ball poked away. Kenwyne Jones now gets involved near the halfway line. Villa taken down. And New York City will have one more opportunity. And David Villa is going to play it quickly out wide to Ethan White. Let's see if Elfath allows this play to continue. White looks to drive it in. A lot of numbers in the area. Villa and Wallace and Moralez and Herrera all awaiting Ethan White's service, but it was blocked by Garza, and that'll do it here in the first half. We've reached the interval with the score. New York City 1 and Atlanta 1. We'll be back with our halftime activities. You're listening to New York City FC Soccer on Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Are your tires ready for the road ahead? No? Then get to Town Fair Tire to get name brand tires at the guaranteed lowest price. Bridgestone, Firestone, Michelin, Continental, Pirelli, Yokohama, Hankook, and more, all at the guaranteed lowest price you'll find anywhere. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Not the internet, not the discount stores, not other tire dealers. I mean nobody. For the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires, nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands and discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Joe Beningo here for Smithtown Nissan to deal with it staying on top by keeping their prices at the bottom. They got great news. The man, the myth, the legend, Greg Fina, wants to blow it out this month. So head over to Smithtown Nissan right now and you can be a big winner. Fina and his team will make every deal that they can right now through the end of this month. So go see Fina first at Smithtown Nissan. And if a new car's not what you're looking for, Smithtown Nissan has a gigantic selection of pre-owned vehicles, the absolute best prices, and of course, the legendary Smithtown Nissan concierge service. It includes valet parking, free snacks, cold drinks, express oil changes. Listen to me, see Fina first. Don't buy anywhere else but Smithtown Nissan. It's surely worth the ride from anywhere. And if you don't want to take my word for it, visit Dealer Rated to see the thousands of reviews from happy customers. Listen to me, see Fina first. Don't buy anywhere else but Smithtown Nissan, Middle Country Road, St. James. SmithtownNissan.com.
Qualifications, rules, and limitations apply. Rates, rewards, and restrictions may vary by account. Contact institution for details.
Tickets, popcorn, and sodas. That'll be $35. Cash or debit?
Debit! I mean, I'd like to use my debit card, please. Can I do it? Okay. All right. Swiping now.
What if paying with your debit card was always this exciting? Kasasa Cashback is a free checking account that pays you for everyday debit card purchases every month you qualify. Plus, with ATM withdrawal fee refunds nationwide, that's a lot of extra cash to spend on whatever you like.
Kasasa is available at Palisades Credit Union, where we saved our members over $2 million last year. Go to PalisadesFCU.org.
The Fan, Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN, WFAN-FM, New York.
Get exclusive NYCFC news, event invites, and contests. Sign up at nycfc.com/signup. Yankee Stadium, it's all tied up. David Villa scoring in the 17th minute, and Carlos Carmona equalizing for Atlanta in the 39th minute. It's 1-1. And, Matt, when you look back now at the first 45 minutes plus, what stands out to you?
Certainly the ability of the players who scored the goals. They were both great strikes. What stood out for me until that Atlanta United goal was how well NYCFC had stuck to Patrick Vieira's game plan. What they did do was they switched off just for a second. It's not always the first ball that's dangerous from long throws or free kicks. It's that second ball. As the ball was knocked down from Kenwyne Jones, Carmona is all alone on the edge of the box. Yes, it was a sweet strike. Yes, there was nothing Johnson could do about it, but somebody, one of the NYCFC players, has to be picking Carmona up on the edge of the box. He's only 18 yards out. They have to shut down that second ball. You have to pick down knockdowns. So that is my only criticism of NYCFC in the first half. But unfortunately, that has cost them.
Atlanta United coming in with just one win in their last 5 games. Those 5 matches without Josef Martinez, who had scored 5 over the first 3, part of that trio of young DPs. The young DPs that only count $200,000 against your budget as opposed to $480,000 plus. But what's your assessment of the 2 young DPs that did play for Atlanta, Miguel Almiron and Tito Villalba?
I think they've been shackled by NYCFC, which is exactly the point. The game plan has been solid from Vieira and from the players. I'm just so upset that they just switched off for those few seconds. I don't think we've seen a great deal of Almiron or Villalba. I think they've been shackled. I think they've been marshalled well, and at times they've been double-teamed as well. I think it's been a good, solid performance from NYCFC, except in the goal, and that's the important thing.
All right, it's New York City FC 1, Atlanta United 1. When we return, an interview with a guy making his second MLS start today, the left back for New York City, Ben Sweat. You're listening to New York City FC Soccer on Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
There's only one St. Mary's healthcare system for children, for kids requiring specialized rehabilitative care.
To learn more, visit stmaryskids.org, where we believe in possible.
Okay, spring is here, and maybe it's time for you to spruce up your house. Call CertaPro Painters, give it a new coat of paint, and you'll be amazed at what a difference it makes. Not only will you feel better about your biggest investment, but your neighbors will love you for getting rid of the eyesore on the block. Increase your property value, and theirs too. There's only one company to call for all of this, and you know what it is. It's CertaPro. You know they've done painting in my house, and they have my official seal of approval. Now, they're not some fly-by-night operation. This is their 25th year. They're neat, they're quick, and I can't say enough good things about them. So, if you're seeing some chipping or peeling or fading, or if you just want a new look, give my friends at CertaPro a call, and they'll take great care of you. For all your painting needs, interior or exterior, call CertaPro Painters today. 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GO-CERTA, or go to CertaPro.com.
CertaPro Painters proudly uses premium quality Benjamin Moore paints and stains. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
There's always two ways of doing things, the old way and the smarter way. You could drive around looking for an affordable parking spot, praying not to be late for that meeting or dinner reservation, or you could use Spot Hero to reserve the perfect spot right from your phone, no matter where you're going. You're smart, so you should probably do things the smarter way. Download the free Spot Hero app and park with an extra $10 off your first reservation using promo code FAN. That's promo code FAN. Spot Hero. Park smarter.
What if you could get urgent care from a world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital while on vacation in Montauk? What if you could visit with your world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital without leaving your couch? And what if you could receive a second opinion from a world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital from across the nation? You can. Welcome to NYP On Demand. From New York Presbyterian, discover a suite of medical services right on your phone, tablet, or computer. Available on the NYP app and nyp.org/on-demand.
The Fan, Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN, WFAN FM, New York.
Ben Sweat signed as a trialist in the preseason with New York City FC, had never played an MLS match, although drafted by Columbus in 2014, until last week against his former club, Columbus. He assisted on a goal, and he's making his second start here today, and I got a chance to talk to him a little bit earlier in the week.
Well, Ben, first of all, congratulations. Your first MLS appearance, and really a solid performance. I really think the most impressive thing is you got that yellow card so quickly, 90 seconds into the match, with Ethan Finley running around over there. So from that point on, you had to really be disciplined.
Yeah, of course. It's always tough to get a card in the beginning of the game because then you can't really go into tackles 100% for the rest of the game, but you can't really think about it either and play timid like that. But, obviously coming as a player, I don't think that's ever a yellow card, especially when players get touched so lightly and they dive and everything. So I think referees got to pay a little close attention to that, because getting a red card or getting a second yellow and then a red card could definitely change the game. So it was a little frustrating, but you just got to play smart after that.
You find yourself a little bit more in tune with everything, like maybe organizing yourself a little earlier, just trying to prevent any sort of thing like that happening?
Yeah, of course. You always got to be like one step ahead, so you're not getting stuck in a position where you have to foul, where your option is to foul. And you got to be smart with your challenges, not going in studs up, not doing something dirty, staying away from the referee after that point, and just being smart.
What were the emotions like for you? I know a lot was made about, you were drafted by Columbus, now you're back there, but there's a significance to that.
It was very emotional for me to go back there and to know some of the staff and the coaches and some of the players, and but it was also a drive to go out there and to have a good performance, and I think the team performed very well, which allowed me to have a solid performance, and it was great. It was a great homecoming, great going back there and performing.
No, it was a good opener for you because, like you said, the people around you were getting it done. Yeah. And then the thing about your assist, I think you even remarked about it after the game. You're a natural left-footed player, but you got the assist with the right.
Yeah, so, for me, if you're a left-footed left back or a left winger, like players are going to overplay you. They're going to know you're going to your left foot. They know you're going to serve with your left foot. So I think it's an advantage to, cut back and, be able to use your opposite foot, which I should be doing more often, and I think I will after that.
When you're cutting back, you got your right foot, you looked up. Did you have a target in mind, or is it more a target area?
It's mostly a target area, but guys are going to, for sure, crash in the box and get in there. And, I saw Yangel, and even Jack was just beyond him. So I know if I put a dangerous ball to the back six where it was, so one of them would have gotten onto it.
Yangel, he had gotten on top of a couple of other balls earlier in the game, and now he finishes this one. And rather impressively, I mean, he took him and Raitala into the goal with him.
Yeah, Yangel had a very solid performance as well. And, he's definitely a spark in the midfield for a young guy. And he broke up a ton of tackles, which makes it easier on our back four to have, someone else to, break up the tackles besides us. So we were very happy with him for sure.
Now with yourself, obviously a deep squad, you've found your way into the lineup, and part of that's based on an injury to Matarrita, but you took advantage of it. So these are the kinds of things that you hoped would occur when you signed? Not necessarily that he got injured. I don't mean that. Yeah. But more as far as taking advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, anyone who gets injured, anyone who's got to come in and fill a spot, in the meantime, you got to come in, you got to bring the same intensity, same performance, same, everything. You got to fill the void. So Mata's a big part of this team, and, we're looking forward to him to get back. But until then, I'm hopefully going to keep doing what I'm doing and keep giving the team what they want and what they need.
When did you find out that you would be starting against Columbus?
Just the day before.
And what did Patrick say to you in terms of, why he was giving you this chance?
I mean, it's he never really comes up and tells us, everyone, you have to be prepared no matter what. Everyone, the teams are split up throughout the entire week. Everyone works hard. Everyone puts in the time. So everyone's got to be switched on and ready, because you never know when that time comes. And when that time comes, he doesn't like to waste any time. He likes you to get in there and get the job done no matter what the situation or scenario it is.
You've been in a variety of soccer situations out of the University of South Florida, which was an excellent college program that has sent a number of players to the pros. And then you move on, Columbus, and then a couple other spots. What makes you a better player now? What made you successful as a trialist to make this team?
I mean, just you go through those ups and downs, as a player in any kind of, whether it's club, college, and then semi-professional and professional, you're going through ups and downs, and you learn from your mistakes. You learn from the things you do well and the things you don't, and, you just grow and you get experience, and I think that's all it was for me. I got a ton of games in with the Rowdies, and, I got my confidence up. I knew I could play at a high level, and I can come in here, with my head up, and I had nothing to lose, and I gave it my all, and I was more than happy to land here and to sign with NYCFC.
A lot of supporters probably don't know a whole lot about you. Can you tell us something that we don't know about you outside of soccer, perhaps? It could be inside of soccer.
Outside of soccer, if I wasn't doing soccer, I'd probably be fishing 24/7. I'm a huge avid fisherman, born and raised on the water in Florida, so I think a few people know that if you look at my social media and stuff, but I absolutely love fishing.
Is there a particular now I'm going to sound naive here because I don't fish, but what kind of fishing? What do you catch?
I'm from Florida, so the Gulf of Mexico. I'm on the West Coast, so it's a lot of inshore, so snook, tarpon, trout, reds. You guys call them fluke up here. We call them flounder down south. So kind of a mixed bag.
How's the Northeast?
I like it, especially the weather. It's slowly starting to warm up, and it's not hot yet like Florida, but it's good. It's nice.
What did you think of those Yankee Stadium games where it was a little raw?
It's pretty awesome to play inside Yankee Stadium. It's actually breathtaking every time I walk in there, and to have 20, 25,000, sometimes 30,000 fans in there it's awesome.
Are you a sports fan, a baseball fan?
I used to play baseball, so I played baseball up to sophomore year of high school. Kind of just got away from it. I tore my shoulder, my labrum, had some problems with my arms after that, so I didn't really pursue it as much, and I knew I had soccer as well, and I competed both at a high level back then, and I stuck with soccer, and I'm happy I did.
Did you see Villa's first pitch at Yankee Stadium?
It was nice, very nice. I was actually impressed. That's a strike right there for sure.
From Palm Harbor, Florida, left back Ben Sweat for New York City FC. His team tied with Atlanta United here at Yankee Stadium at the halftime interval 1-1. Back with the second half in a moment. You're listening to New York City FC Soccer on Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
This is Morgan Freeman, executive producer of the documentary The C Word. And I'm here to tell you that defeating cancer takes breakthroughs. A breakthrough is the start of something extraordinary. You, the patients, taking part in clinical trials. You, the scientists, doing next-level research to beat cancer. You, the doctors who care for everyone. Let's be the breakthrough.
To learn about screenings and clinical trials, go to standuptocancer.org/breakthrough. Please talk to your healthcare provider about appropriate screenings and clinical trials.
Not sure what brand tire to buy? Town Fair Tire has them all. Michelin, Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Pirelli, Toyo, Yokohama, Hankook, and more. No matter what size or brand, Town Fair Tire beats all the competition, even online prices. We'll also do a free front wheel alignment with any tire purchase. Name brand tires, the lowest prices, free alignment. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Joe Beningo here for Smithtown Nissan to deal with it staying on top by keeping their prices at the bottom. They got great news. The man, the myth, the legend, Greg Fina, wants to blow it out this month. So head over to Smithtown Nissan right now and you can be a big winner. Fina and his team will make every deal that they can right now through the end of this month. So go see Fina first at Smithtown Nissan. And if a new car's not what you're looking for, Smithtown Nissan has a gigantic selection of pre-owned vehicles, the absolute best prices. And of course, the legendary Smithtown Nissan concierge service. It includes valet parking, free snacks, cold drinks, express oil changes. Listen to me, see Fina first. Don't buy anywhere else but Smithtown Nissan. It's surely worth the ride from anywhere. And if you don't want to take my word for it, visit Dealer Rated to see the thousands of reviews from happy customers. Listen to me, see Fina first. Don't buy anywhere else but Smithtown Nissan, Middle Country Road, St. James. SmithtownNissan.com.
The Fan, Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN, WFAN FM, New York.
Second half kickoff just about set. Glenn Crooks, Matt Lawrence from Yankee Stadium, New York City FC 1, Atlanta United 1. Second half is underway. We'll check it closely. Does not appear to be any changes on either side. The change here in the second half, New York City moving right to left on the Yankee Stadium grounds. Harrison puts in an early cross, and it was saved on the line. Here's a head ball by Wallace. Wallace with the first take gets another shot. And off the short hop, it's deflected out for a corner. Well, just like that, inside of 30 seconds here in the first half, Harrison put a great ball across. It was saved on the line by Tyrone Mears. Then the second ball taken by Wallace. And his clipped left-footed shot attempt. Yeah, Matt Lawrence to my right has both hands behind his head leaning back wondering how did not one of those attempts get in. And what a play by Tyrone Mears. All right, corner kick ensues. And it's Wallace up for the challenge along with Herrera. Outside the area now, Maxi Moralez controls to the left. Finds Villa. Villa in the box. Villa to his left foot. Double team. Ball loose. And finally cleared, but they can't clear their lines, can Atlanta United. And Harrison on the ball. He's looking to drive past two defenders in the penalty area. And a ball cleared out by Tyrone Mears. So what a start to the second half.
Whatever Patrick Vieira said in the locker room at half-time, it certainly worked. That's two shots cleared off the line within the opening 60 seconds of the game. Great play by NYCFC.
Now Ethan White looks to get one across, and they got a piece of Greg Garza deflects across the goal line. And the second corner kick of the half upcoming for New York City Football Club. And it'll be corner kick number 6 on the game. Statistically, New York City 7 shots to 4 for Atlanta. Corner kicks 6-1. Moralez puts in another outswinger, and again it's Herrera giving chase. He's become a target on those in his the early stages of his career here. He's very good in the air, and we saw that and very courageous in the air at times because he needed to be brave on that game-tying header. Here's a swerving shot by Herrera off the throw-in. And a diving stave, full extension, Can to his left. Ball still in the area. High in the air for the header is Wallace. And Can, with both hands, grabs it comfortably.
Yeah, Wallace rises wonderfully at the back post, but he can't get enough power on the header. It's a comfortable save for Can. But what a great start to the second half from NYCFC. So dominant.
Herrera's shot was fantastic from outside the area, angled to the left with the right foot, and had to fully extend to his left to make the save. Here's a possession knockdown header by Ben Sweat. Collins has it. The dominant left-footed player with his right looks to clear the intended target, Harrison, but taken away by Almiron for Atlanta. Pushes one out wide left, and reading that well is Ethan White to pick it off. Now White trying to dribble past Almiron, ball deflected, and now it's going to be a foul called by Ismail Elfath. His 89th game as an MLS referee, and putting it back into play quickly is Atlanta United. A light rain falling at the stadium. Some umbrellas out. Other people's just covered up, and then some supporters don't care.
Yeah, it's nothing more than light drizzle out here. It's great for the players. It means the surface is very, very slick, and it certainly helped Herrera's shot just moments ago.
Herrera plays a square ball to Maxi Moralez right in the center circle, and he looks to find Jack Harrison early. Driven right-footed pass was over Harrison, though, and it carried out of play. So Atlanta has a throw-in about 15 yards inside their own end. It's Garza looking to throw it deep down the left sideline to Almiron. And no clear possession right now. Moralez with a aggressive header off the bounce, trying to find Rodney Wallace wide. And now finally some possession, and Almiron, the player that New York City would rather not be on the ball, and Ethan White with a late challenge, and that's a yellow card for Ethan White, and Almiron is still down.
That's a hard, clumsy foul from Ethan White on Almiron. Beating Ethan White all ends up, absolutely scythed him down. It's a definite yellow card, rightly issued by referee Ismail Elfath, the third of the game.
So booking Ethan White early second half, we're the 50th minute, and it's 1-1, so White will have to be at least somewhat cautious the rest of the way to not get the second yellow. And it's Almiron taking the free kick right in front of Sean Johnson. Johnson hesitated coming off the line, and the ball skipped, but he held on to it cleanly, did not spill, as Kenwin Jones and Tito Villalba were ready to pounce on it if that ball got loose. Johnson punts it way down to the other end of the field, where Rodney Wallace is called for handling the ball.
You've certainly just had a chance, haven't we, Glenn, a few minutes into this second half to take a breath.
Ethan White turned around terribly on a long diagonal service. Certainly not an unusual ball from Parkhurst, but Ethan White here at Yankee Stadium, he looked like the outfielder that turned in the wrong direction, and then he was backpedaling, and Almiron, fortunately for New York City, could not collect it on the other side of White.
Yeah, it's nothing more than just a rank 50-yard diagonal ball, wasn't it? But Ethan White completely misjudged it, as you say, Glenn, got totally turned around. Very fortunate that Almiron, he was anyway, Ethan White was very fortunate that he didn't suffer the consequences there.
Gressel in the midfield, involved with looking to put it up top to Kenwin Jones. Jones, though, offsides. Gressel has played a good game, the rookie out of Providence College for Atlanta United, who certainly rely on a number of young players, but then they have the veterans like a Jones, who's 32, Carmona is 30 years old, Parkhurst at 33, and Tyrone Mears as well. So it's a good blend of young and old.
I think it's that solid spine of the team, isn't it? That's where you want the experience. They've got it in Parkhurst at centre half, Carmona in the centre of midfield, and Jones up front as centre forward. I think it's a correct decision from Martino, the head coach of Atlanta United. He has got some experience. Laurentowicz, of course, as well, very experienced MLS player too. But then you've got the youthful exuberance of some of the other players, the more technically gifted players like Almiron and Villalba.
But Almiron has suffered without, and let's face it, if Josef Martinez were healthy, he'd be in there for Kenwyne Jones most likely. And Almiron, 3 games with Martinez, 4 goals, 2 assists, and without him, not as much production. That is for certain. And ball loose in the Atlanta United end. It's knocked out for a throw, and Garza will take it deep. Garza, the left back. It's Garza, Perez, Parkhurst, and Mears, the back 4 for Atlanta United, starting here in the second half. No changes. Alacan in goal. Carmona, Laurentowicz, and Gressel in the midfield. Almiron, Jones, and Villalba up top. Now it's a New York City throw-in. Ethan White puts it down. He hammers that throw into the grass so it lands softly at the feet of Villa. Harrison comes out with it, has it poked away. And here comes Atlanta, but that counterattack stopped short by Alexander Ring. Moralez is in the area, and he scores! Oh, I thought it was in. It was just wide of the mark. And I got a little excited as the 5'3" Maxi Moralez, who has maneuvered his way in the area for head balls on several occasions this year, but has not been able to score the goal, and that one just wide right of the post. Wow.
Absolutely magnificent run from Moralez. Has just pulled off the back of Parkhurst, the right-handed centre half. Done so well there, Moralez. Did the hard bit, broke free, and then the simple header. It just needed to guide it down on target, just half a yard wide of the post. I was with you there, Glenn. I thought initially that it was just nestled the left-hand side of the post, but it didn't. It was the right-hand side and went behind for a goal kick. Very unfortunate for Moralez.
Maxime Chenot over the back of Kenwyne Jones on an aerial service from the Atlanta United back line. Foul, but New York City has it back with Villa. Villa driving at the back 4. Villa, he looked a toe poke through to Herrera, who had made a weak side run, but there was really no room for that at all, as Atlanta United had become very compact and squeezed defensively. Now it's Atlanta United on the counter, but look at Alexander Ring, the work rate of Ring, as he took the ball off of Miguel Almiron, and that's no simple task. Almiron now lets it run past him, looking to deke out Ethan White, the right back for New York City. Unable to. The New York City starters left to right in the back. Ben Sweat, Alexander Collins, Maxime Chenot, Ethan White. In the midfield, Ring, Herrera, Moralez. Up top, Wallace, Villa, Harrison, Sean Johnson in goal. So no changes to start the second half for New York City. We're in the 56th minute. It's New York City 1 on the David Villa 17-minute goal. And Atlanta United 1 on the Carlos Carmona 39th minute goal. Perez finds Almiron. Almiron, who finds those pockets, pushes it out wide for Garza. Garza loops across it, intended for Jones. And Maxime Chenot sliding really disrupted that service by Garza. Almiron so good finding the pockets. The number of times he receives it and can turn in games that we've watched this year is really extraordinary. And as you described so aptly, Matt Lawrence, the clamps were down in that first half. All right, here's Harrison. He cuts it to his dominant left when he had room on his right. His shot blocked at the top of the box. And that was Carmona getting a piece of it. New York City has control with White just inside the Atlanta United end along the right sideline. It's poked out for the throw-in.
Just looks though, Glenn, as though Atlanta United have decided they need to make that first switch.
We'll get a beat on that in a moment.
Looks like Chris McCann's coming on for Julian Gressel. Julian Gressel, the rookie, who had picked up a yellow card. Maybe Martino has that in his thoughts. McCann very much like-for-like player with Julian Gressel.
McCann, a native of Dublin, Ireland. One of the 3 players that has competed against my broadcast partner here in England.
Yeah, played against Chris McCann a number of times. Again, another player played predominantly in the northwest of England. Played a number of games, a number of years at Burnley Football Club, who are now in the EPL.
McCann, 29 years old. Joined the Burnley Football Club in 2005, made over 200 appearances, scored 27 goals. None against you, I hope.
Not that I can remember. I certainly wouldn't admit to it anyway, Glenn.
All right, play back in, and there's a bit of a tussle along the far touchline, and Gonzalez Perez involved. He's not a soft center back. I've seen some things written that Atlanta United might need a center back, someone who is dominant physically, but Perez is certainly no soft man in the middle of the defense. And now a foul called, suffering it was Yangel Herrera. Pirlo on the bench today, Andrea Pirlo for New York City FC. Check out the rest of the bench players. Brilliant, Sturzer, Camargo, Acoli, and Wua making his first appearance in the 18. Maxi Moralez, he was central as he tried to put that in the area. It was deflected high into the area. He regains control all the way back to Sean Johnson. And New York City will now build with Alex Collins. And Collins with a lot of time on the ball. He's jogging it into the Atlanta United end. And a back heel from Villa. First time to Herrera. Wide to Harrison. Ethan White on the overlap. White gets it from Harrison. Ball across. And it's a goal for New York City FC. Rodney Wallace. His third of the year. And the home team takes a 2-1 lead.
Absolutely no pressure on the ball from Atlanta United. They allow Collins to carry the ball all the way to the halfway line. He plays the ball into Villa. It's a lovely flick round the corner from Villa. Moralez lays the ball out wide to Jack Harrison. Jack Harrison then lays it in turn to Ethan White. He whips it across the box, and it's a good finish from Rodney Wallace. 2-1 NYCFC, and that's a great move. It really is a great team goal.
Well deserved for New York City. They've had the run of it here in the second half and have come oh so close to scoring that second goal throughout the first 15 minutes of the second half. Finally come through, and a well-timed poke from Harrison as he nudged it into the path of Ethan White. First time ball across, and there were a host of New York City players in front of the goal, including Villa and the goal scorer Rodney Wallace.
Yeah, and Moralez was at the back post. They really got numbers into the box. That's a massive positive for NYCFC.
Atlanta United trying to spring quickly. Kenwyn Jones, though, offsides. And when you're looking to counter, Matt, if you're Atlanta United, you have pacey players on the field, but Jones is not one of them, so he's not the guy that's going to run in behind. However, they've played a couple of balls through to him.
Yeah, the only way that Kenwyn Jones is going to get into the game is if he has quality service into his chest, into his head, down the centre of the pitch, or if they get crosses into him.
Here's Moralez in close, and he scores! Inside of the right foot! Assist Rodney Wallace! And New York City increases their lead in the 62nd minute.
And that's such a direct goal as well. The ball's booted upfield from Sean Johnson, flicked on Villa onto Wallace. Wallace lays Moralez in, and it's a cool, calm, decisive finish from Maxi Moralez past the outstretched left leg of Alec Khan. That's a great goal. This time just very much back to front. Previous goal was all a team goal. This one just a couple of minutes later. As I say, back to front and all about a decisive finish from Maxi Moralez. Didn't need asking twice.
A nice little cutback pass by Rodney Wallace, the overplaying defender, to find Maxi Moralez, received it right in the middle of the penalty box and just slotted it past Alec Khan. And for the second consecutive week, Atlanta United has conceded 3 goals. Lost 3-1 to DC United last week at home before over 55,000 at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Here at Yankee Stadium, it's a happy supporters group as New York City has scored twice in the second half to take the 3-1 lead.
And this is now, it's up to NYCFC to hold firm for at least the next 10-15 minutes. 2 goals in quick succession. Now you just want to stabilise at the back. You don't want to give Atlanta any sighters on goal.
And Ethan White, we'll talk about what a zonal back four needs to do there, as he was beat badly on a diagonal service where he was tucked way in, and an innocent header by Chris McCann could not get any power on it. It was Miguel Almiron finding Garza on the left side with a long diagonal service, and Ethan White again beaten. We've seen that happen a couple of times. Moralez caught offsides off the flick header by Villa.
I'll stick up for defenders here. Defenders union. Ethan White, I think, needs to be helped out by Jack Harrison as well. I think Jack Harrison needs to track Greg Garza, the left back. Either that or
we're going to debate that one, my man, because Ethan White was holding hands with Alexander Collins.
Look, you always
or
have
Maxime Chanot. Here we go. It's Villa back the other way. New York City, so dangerous here in the second half. Remember, 2 were cleared off the line on Rodney Wallace attempts early in the half. Wallace finally got the goal, his third of the season, and that was followed by Maxi Moralez. The Wallace goal came in the 60th minute, and a minute later, Moralez with a right-footed finish.
I think NYCFC were magnificent in the first half, apart from that lapse in concentration that allowed Atlanta United to score. But in this second half, they have been so incisive, they've countered so quickly, and there's been 2 great finishes as well. 20 minutes into this second half, and again, they're really following Patrick Vieira's tactical plan. It's totally paying off as of right now.
Moralez, Ethan White. Across the field. Foul committed by Ethan White. So Miguel Almiron from a fairly substantial angle to the left. So this will be an outswinger. And there's a lot of space between the defensive line and Sean Johnson. And the ball lands on the back 6. Takes a couple of hops and then rolls. And it's a throw in as Rodney Wallace could have kept that in and started the play, and instead of forcing Ben Sweat to throw this one right by the corner flag deep in his own end.
No, I agree. I think initially Rodney Wallace thought it was going to go out for a goal kick, didn't he? Then it didn't quite roll out, so yeah, put Ben Sweat in a little bit of a troubled position here, right down by the corner flag.
Sweat throws in, back heel. Wallace finds Villa, and look at the ball movement as New York City breaks pressure with Herrera playing it wide to White, and here's Harrison, and White will overlap again. The last time that happened, it created a goal. Changing the point, though, Herrera to Ring. Ring finds Wallace, back to Ring. Ring now will open up, and with a right-footed goes cross-field to White. First-time ball by Villa after he received it from the Baltimore, Maryland native Ethan White. And now the long service. That was Herrera. Very active. Ended up near the end line as he tried to get his hips around for that service. But it went out for a goal kick. And up on the big screen here at the stadium, Antti Ranta, who is the backup goalkeeper for the New York Rangers, holding up a New York City FC scarf. So he's here supporting. His team is down 3-2 against the Ottawa Senators. The Rangers, they led both of their last 2 games against Ottawa, and the Senators came back and won.
Good to see the New York team supporting each other. Just going back to this, the soccer game that's in front of us right now, you used the phrase ball movement. I think the speed of New York City's ball movement has been absolutely majestic in this second half, Glenn.
Villa has it now, right edge of the box. Runs into 2 players, and Garza tried to clear it. It went right into the back of Carlos Carmona and ricocheted back towards the end line, and the Atlanta United defense had to serve it out safely for a New York City throw-in. So under control deep in the Atlanta end as Villa with a little dink trying to get Harrison in. David Villa was to the right of the penalty box. The 18-yard line extended with really no pressure on him. And he saw Harrison working his way in behind, tried to dink it over Perez, and foul ended up being committed, and Villa looking to put his body between the free kick taken by the goalkeeper, Can. Now Can struggling as the ball's played back to him and won by Laurentowicz as Villa puts the pressure on, and now a foul called off a head ball challenge by Herrera.
I find that quite incredible that a free kick's been given there. Herrera's just risen above Garza and won the header. I don't think that's a free kick at all. Once again, we see great pressure from David Villa just before that, putting all sorts of pressure on Alec Khan. Atlanta are struggling. They're struggling to get a foothold in this game whatsoever in the second half. They've had very little possession of the ball, and they've struggled to defend these swift, incisive breaks of NYCFC.
At halftime, and this is a rarity, New York City trailed in the possession statistics 51-49, but they're back on top now, 52-48, with a number of positive possessions here in the second half, and Atlanta United a booking on the counter as Villa and Maxi Moralez looked to break out. Moralez was held by Jeff Laurentowicz. So that'll be the third yellow for Atlanta. Gressel and Parkhurst, the others. Ethan White has drawn a card for New York City.
At the moment, that's the only way that Atlanta FC can stop these counter-attacks from NYCFC, and that is to foul, to break up the play in the middle of the park. NYCFC are moving the ball around so well with such speed.
And it seems like Atlanta United, in a way, has run out of gas with the amount of pressure they put on in the first half. Started the second half, and now New York City's gained a little control. Up 3-1 here in the 70th minute. Ring trying to reverse a pass to either Villa or Moralez. And again, you look at the midfield for New York City FC, the rotation and mobility. Now you have Ring and Maxi Moralez in the box, and Herrera holds back for protection.
I think that's the word you use, Glenn. Mobility. There's such mobility in the middle of the park.
Harrison with a left-footed service, and it's headed clear off the dive by Garza. And retreating, and he has the pace to catch it. Ahead of Garza is Alexander Ring facing Sean Johnson, and Johnson plays a pass with not a lot of pace to Ethan White, so there's immediate pressure. White, though, able to nudge it up the right sideline for Wallace, and the ball was loose in the midfield and a foul called.
You talk about mobility in the centre of the park. We just see Alex Ring sweeping up in behind his back four, passing the ball back to Sean Johnson.
And moments earlier, he was inside the area trying to find Moralez with a pass. White along the far sideline finds Herrera, and he slips a pass in for Villa. Villa, who is held up by Perez, and Can came out to break that up. Villa came very close to poking that in. Now it's Herrera battling with Almiron. Almiron trying to weave his way past both Ethan White and Alexander Ring. Ring will have nothing to do with that other than to take it off the feet of Almiron. Alexander Ring, now it's Moralez. Inside of the right foot, he pushes it wide for White. And New York City FC in full control of the match. Goals by Wallace and Moralez have given New York City the 3-1 lead. Villa had scored earlier. Carmona with the Atlanta United tally.
It's got an Atlanta United player down just in the defensive third of their pitch from their point of view.
Join us back here at Yankee Stadium on Wednesday, May 31st as New York City FC plays host to the New England Revolution for the first time this season. Kickoff, 7:30. Don't miss your chance to support your city and be part of our 2017 season. Tickets available at nycfc.com, 855-77-NYCFC, or at the Yankee Stadium box office. New York City 3, Atlanta United 1. 73rd minute. Glenn Crooks along with Matt Lawrence here on WFAN. And also want to welcome our listeners on Sirius XM-FC Channel 85. And Alex Collins with a flying head challenge. Got high in the air, and you could just tell by the body language and the vibrancy of the attack that New York City has come out with some sort of change mentality. It'll be interesting to see what Patrick says about halftime, Patrick Vieira. something happened.
I just think it's the speed of attack almost. They've sped the play up so much.
All right. Isolated is Villalba, working against Sweat. Hesitation move. Here's the left-footed shot. Tries to beat Johnson, who is shading the back post. Johnson had to dive to his left to palm it out for the corner kick. Villalba with a good take. Johnson with a save.
Yeah, it's a decent strike from Villalba. I think Sean Johnson has just anticipated a little bit, gone towards his right-hand side, then had to dive back to his left-hand side. All the weight was on his right foot, but he does well to scramble back onto his left side, tip it round to the second corner of the game to Atlanta.
Almiron in swinger, floats, and getting their first head on it was Gonzalez Perez over the top of Chenot. No easy task. Ball sails out of bounds, far sideline. Throw in for Atlanta. And here's Alexander Ring against Perez. 1v1. Ethan White came over to help, and that ball is out for another Atlanta corner kick. This will be their third of the game, second here in the second 45 minutes. Out swinger, this time Almiron. Ball on goal, just to the right of Johnson. I think it was Laurentowicz that may have gotten a piece of it, but really did not connect well with it. And Johnson with just had to move a couple of steps to his right to grab it. Johnson will punt it deep into the Atlanta United end, and that one is shanked out of bounds as Atlanta looked like they would move out with possession. New York City has it back, and Yangel Herrera, Rodney Wallace. Herrera played it as he was hugging. That was Ben Sweat, rather. Ben Sweat into Villa. Lays it off to Wallace, and ball tried to play through from Villa to Jack Harrison, and anticipating that and reading it well was Gonzalez Perez, and then Harrison commits the foul.
Yeah, and he's certainly upsetting Perez is Jack Harrison. Every time Perez brings the ball down and goes to clear it, Jack Harrison is just nipping at his heels. Works so hard, Jack Harrison down that right-hand side.
There's a good challenge, Collins and Jones. And now the counter. New York City wins it back. Harrison, diagonal for Villa, and too much mustard on that right-footed ball across. Villa could not catch up to it. Goal kick for Atlanta United. Join us for any 5 home matches of your choice in 2017. The 5-match plan designed to fit your busy schedule. Sign with your club today and get your 5-match plan by calling 855-77-NYCFC or visiting NYCFC.com. New York City 3, Atlanta United 1. We're now in the 76th minute. Yankee Stadium, the rain has stopped. A chilly but pleasant spring afternoon. We have yet to really clear the path of excellent weather at Yankee Stadium for a home match yet, but this is certainly tolerable. And as you mentioned earlier, Matt, great for the players. A nice slick surface and cool conditions. Atlanta now in the New York City end. Almiron gains control. He accelerates past Herrera. Now puts the ball across to Laurentowicz. He's got room. Now he'll step on the ball, right sole of the foot, to find Villalba. Working a 1-2. Villalba, but it's intercepted cleanly by Chenot, but he can't clear his lines. Ball intercepted top of the area, though, by Ethan White. Villa all the way back to defend. Takes it off of White, and Villa will kindly knock it across the touchline because there's an Atlanta United player down.
Yeah, it is, and that player's Perez. Villa, I don't think he meant it. I don't think there was any malice, but he's just caught Perez in the face with his right hand. As I say, he wasn't looking at it. He just skipped in front of Perez, did Villa. Won the ball off him, but just caught him with his trailing hand. Just an unfortunate collision. Nothing in it. The referee didn't spot it.
Only one substitution thus far. Chris McCann for Atlanta United. In for Julian Gressel. Remaining players on the bench, field players for Atlanta United. Ambrose, Walks, Kratz, Heath, and Vasquez. And now Frederick Brilliant has entered the game for New York City FC. This normally a tactical maneuver.
Yeah, Jack Harrison's gone off, Glenn.
So with Harrison down, Brilliant will join Maxime Chenot and Alexander Collins. It'll be a 3-back or a 5-back, however you want to look at it, with White on the right and Ben Sweat on the left.
Yeah, with 12 minutes left and 2 goals up, I think it'll very much become a back 5, Glenn. I know in attack you'll go with wing backs, and it'll just be a back 3. But right now, there certainly looks as though Sweat and White are lined up alongside their 3 centre halves.
This a normal maneuver by Patrick Vieira, with a lead in the latter stages of the match. Frederick Brilliant, very good in the air. For much of the season in 2016, led MLS in clearances. So he's a good force in the middle with a big guy like Kenwyne Jones in there as well. New York City trying to preserve and perhaps even build on this 3-1 advantage. Ring to Villa, lays it back for Moralez. Sticking his right boot in on Moralez is Laurentowicz, and immediately he finds Almiron. Almiron dribbling laterally to the left, lays off for Garza. Garza with a staggered dribble finds Villalba, and looking to play it back down the line for Garza. The ball is handled by Brilliant. So a free kick about 2 yards from the touchline. Angled left, sharp angle. Outside the penalty area. Sean Johnson directing the players in front of him. Again, they're holding the 18. A lot of space between that defensive line and where Johnson is, mid-6. Ball whipped in. Kenwyne Jones heads it down, and Johnson off of one hop makes the save.
It's a great ball whipped in from Almiron. Kenwyne Jones has risen well, got above his mark, has done everything right, headed the ball down, just couldn't quite get enough power on it to take the ball past Sean Johnson.
Johnson did well to handle that cleanly off the short hop, and maybe the only player who doesn't like a wet surface is the goalkeeper because of the skip.
And I'm going to play devil's advocate slightly, Glenn. I don't like changing the back 4. I understand that Patrick Vieira does it an awful lot, but I think when you're playing in such a solid back 4, there's no need to change it. You can maybe put an extra holding defensive player in there.
Villa finds Moralez, who's drifted wide. Back to Villa with a right-footed cross, and it was deflected into the air by Atlanta United and taken by Can. The crowd sarcastically calling that a back pass, but it certainly was not. Here's Parkhurst with the right foot. He just flips it on the deck to Villalba, who came back well to receive it in front of Ben Sweat. Now in the midfield circle, Carmona loses it to Herrera. Herrera with a left foot finds Maxi Moralez to his left, and Tyrone Mears with a late challenge came in from behind on Moralez. Mears, in his effort to recover and get behind the ball, decided to take a little bit of a swipe at Maxi Moralez.
Yeah, it's not a great challenge from Tyrone Mears at all. No malice in it whatsoever. I don't think that one particularly hurt, just as Atlanta United make another substitution.
Nonetheless, Mears will obtain a yellow card. It's the 4th booking for Atlanta United. New York City 3, Atlanta United 1. We're in the 82nd minute. And another change. Brandon Vasquez will check in place of the veteran Jeff Laurentowicz. Laurentowicz, here's a guy that's 300 MLS regular season appearances plus. A veteran presence for Atlanta. And New York City has earned a corner kick. Free kick was played. Instead of putting it in the mix, ball was played wide on the deck to Maxi Moralez, who will play it short on the corner to Villa. Back to Moralez. He's playing 1v1 against Michael Parkhurst. Gets the left-footed drive across. Brilliant knocks it down. Brilliant still on the ball. And now it's cleared high into the air, but not out of the danger area. There's Rodney Wallace, and he pokes it free. Now it's Harrison and Wallace, and Herrera tries a first-time whipped service. He scuffed it, and Atlanta, in their effort to clear, there was a foul called or a violation of some sort. Atlanta will have it nonetheless. New York City has outshot the Five Stripes 16-9, on target 11-6. And they're led by goals Villa, Wallace, and Moralez.
Yeah, and of those 6 shots that Atlanta United have had on target, there's the goal obviously, but barring that, Sean Johnson's only really had to make one particularly difficult save. I think NYCFC have been so dominant in this second half. I think Patrick Vieira will be absolutely ecstatic with the performance of his troops in this second half.
I'd like to get back to your discussion on the back line. What is it that disturbs you the most about changing the back line? It's just because you've had a rhythm, you've been working together for the whole match?
You've had a rhythm, you've got the communication going, you all know where you're playing on the pitch. Everybody knows who's picking up Ken Wynne-Jones. You suddenly add another centre-half in there, and I find it simpler for the centre-forwards just to slip in the gaps between the centre-halves.
Almiron! And that one was too far. He took it off the throw-in. Really a great little staggered step to break loose. Remember, throw-ins can't be offsides on a throw-in, and Almiron got past White, put it across, but had too much on it, and then poked out by New York City FC. Atlanta United with a throw-in. They're moving left to right here in the second half in the New York City end. Ball played back by Mears now into his own end to Parkhurst, who goes back to Can. Can, the goalkeeper, in one. Finds Perez. Perez looking. Garza checking back towards him. His left back towards the line. Instead, he'll change it to the right. And now the ball on the feet of Almiron. He is the playmaker, but he's been stifled throughout a majority of the match. Plays across to Garza. Garza now to Perez. Back to Almiron. He had some space in the midfield. Instead of attacking it, he finds Mears wide right. Mears trying to serve. It's blocked by Sweat. Ben Sweat, another solid performance at left back. Almiron, he was given a little room to take that shot outside the area. Rodney Wallace stepped late, but managed to get a piece of it. And New York City still has not cleared their lines. Here's a little dink by Chris McCann. Second ball laid off to Mears. Now it's back to Villalba, and cutting in front of Villalba is Herrera. Villa has it and is taken down by Parkhurst. Villa, though, play acting a bit. I think there's a little question to that as he popped right back up. On the Atlanta side now, the ball's played, and Can quickly tracks it down. Can is a left-footed keeper and just threw that out with the left hand, so he's lefty all the way. The Decatur, Georgia native, Alec Can, who really was brought in to be a backup. Brad Guzan is poised now that Middlesbrough, unfortunately for him and his team, no chance for, their season is rightfully done. And there was even some discussion as to whether Guzan might come into Atlanta earlier because Burrow can do no better. But it appears it'll be the summer transfer window that Guzan will join Atlanta United. Atlanta now in possession. Possession stats in favor of New York City, but just barely, 51-49, or more specifically, 50.4 to 49.6. So even closer than that. So Atlanta knocking it around the back, and New York City has no issue with the multiple passes that do not penetrate. Now, finally, it's Almiron looking to target up Villalba. Ball lost, though. Villa has it. Maxi Moralez. Herrera in the Atlanta United end. He's about 10 yards inside the Atlanta half to the right of the center circle. Moralez now will sweep it all the way back to Maxime Chenot. Plays square to Collins. New York City killing clock as they keep possession. Villa able to turn as the ball was played into him by Wallace. Villa now, 1v1. Cuts to the middle, looks to backheel off the move. The target was Wallace coming in from behind, but Mears was smartly there to cut it off. And Mears trying to clear, certainly looked like it was handled, but maybe off the head of Yangel Herrera. And Maxime Chenot immediately puts it into touch so that the training staff could come out and check on not Herrera, but Alexander Collins. What's Collins doing all the way up there with a 2-goal lead?
I'm not sure, but he tried to bring that ball down with his cheek, and it certainly hurt him, that's for certain. Felt the full force of that ball in the side of the face. I'm sure he'll be fine.
He's just 25 yards away from the Atlanta United goal. That's why I was kidding the center back as Patrick Vieira went to 5 at the back, and wow, we just saw the replay, and he was stoked rather directly in the head.
Yeah, that
by the clearance. Yeah, that had to hurt. You must have had a few balls clatter off your head like that. Does that explain some things?
Yeah, I was going to say, can you tell by my speech defects?
Collins is given permission to re-enter by the New York City training staff. Moralez, ball played in, and he was looking to flick in behind to David Villa, who's about 25 yards offsides. Villa just walking back, so really Villa was not an option on that. We're in the 90th minute now. New York City 3, Atlanta United 1. The last several minutes have, the pace of this game, the intensity, the thrill really has been lost. That third goal took the air out of it for Atlanta United. Almiron. Lanús transfer, young designated player who has really made his mark initially. A lot of people watched that Minnesota United game in the snow. Second game ever for Atlanta United. And Almiron scored twice, including that half volley from outside the area that dipped over the keeper. He was into the game with 2 goals, both scored in that Minnesota game, and 4 assists.
Yeah, what we mustn't forget, Glenn, about this Atlanta side is they're missing Joseph Martinez, as you've mentioned. He's scored 5 goals. Assad's suspended as well. He's got 2 goals. So that's 7 goals out of the team they're missing already. And also Almiron doesn't play as well without Joseph Martinez. You mentioned the statistic earlier on in commentary, Glenn. They are very much a weakened side, Atlanta, without those 2 young, very, very technical players.
Well, look at Almiron as Kwame Awuah is going to make his MLS debut, and we had a feeling Patrick Vieira might use Awuah today, although the circumstances are a bit easier for him to make that decision with the rookie up 3-1 here in the final minutes. 3 minutes of stoppage time. Villalba saves it with the head. Here below us, right-hand touchline, Tyrone Mears. He drives at Awuah and now clips a ball intended for Kenwyn Jones, deflected by Chenot right to Alexander Collins, and he elected not to mess around with it at all. Long clearance with the right foot by Collins, and then the ball handled inadvertently by Perez. Kwame Awuah. Big moment for him. Awuah is a native of Toronto, Ontario, 16th pick in the Super Draft this year. And David Villa, who opened the scoring in this game with his 6th of the season, but really, even though he scored his goal in the first half, he was more of a menace in the second half. And Ugo Akoli coming on for him.
And I like what he does just as much with the ball, but also off the ball as well, on and off the ball. When he's off the ball, he works so incredibly hard. He really has integrated himself so well into this NYCFC team.
Welcome to the game, Ugo Akoli. As Collins off the restart found Akoli behind the defense, drove end line, put it across, but there was no one home. His teammates were laying well back just to make certain, because at this point you almost don't want to put a ball into the area like that unless it's a layup. So
no, the rest of his team are just willing to see this game out, and rightly so, with just a couple of minutes of additional time remaining.
Strong tackle by Herrera on McCann. Ugo Akoli gets it back. He started last week in place of Villa, who had a virus and was left at the hotel, and Akoli did well. And there's the final whistle from Ismail Elfath, and a happy result for the New York City Football Club supporters in full, filling up the bleachers in left center field here at Yankee Stadium. New York City FC 3, Atlanta United 1. Matt and I will return in a moment with post-game activities. You're listening to New York City FC Soccer on Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Okay, spring is here, and maybe it's time for you to spruce up your house. Call CertaPro Painters, give it a new coat of paint, and you'll be amazed at what a difference it makes. Not only will you feel better about your biggest investment, but your neighbors will love you for getting rid of the eyesore on the block. Increase your property value, and theirs too. There's only one company to call for all of this, and you know what it is. It's CertaPro. You know they've done painting in my house, and they have my official seal of approval. Now, they're not some fly-by-night operation. This is their 25th year. They're neat, they're quick, and I can't say enough good things about them. So, if you're seeing some chipping or peeling or fading, or if you just want a new look, give my friends at CertaPro a call, and they'll take great care of you. For all your painting needs, interior or exterior, call CertaPro Painters today. 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GO-CERTA, or go to CertaPro.com.
CertaPro Painters proudly uses premium quality Benjamin Moore paints and stains. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Hello, my name is Trooper Timothy McQuaid. When I was just a kid, I saw troopers arrest a violent man at our local fair. Right then and there, I knew I wanted to be a trooper to deal with people who think they can do harm to others. Now is your chance to join the best of the best. Sign up today to take the trooper exam by going to nytrooper.com. That's nytrooper.com. Your new career, it starts now.
Sponsored by the New York State Police in cooperation with the NYSBA.
There's always two ways of doing things, the old way and the smarter way. You could drive around looking for an affordable parking spot, praying not to be late for that meeting or dinner reservation, or you could use Spot Hero to reserve the perfect spot right from your phone, no matter where you're going. You're smart, so you should probably do things the smarter way. Download the free Spot Hero app and park with an extra $10 off your first reservation using promo code FAN. That's promo code FAN. Spot Hero. Park smarter.
The Fan, Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN, WFAN FM, New York.
25,605 here at Yankee Stadium. Many still celebrating the 3-1 victory for New York City over Atlanta United, as the New York City players, coaching staff are honoring the supporters in the left center field, the bleacher section here at Yankee Stadium. Glenn Crooks, Matt Lawrence, and Matt, at halftime it was 1-1, and you felt that Atlanta had not created too much in the run of play, and New York City had played well at times. It was really not a particularly one-sided game one way or the other. You couldn't argue with a 1-1 halftime interval score. But then New York City came out of the locker room, and like we said earlier, be anxious to see exactly what was said or what kind of psychological adjustments came about, because they didn't change personnel. Did you see anything in particular?
They didn't change personnel, and they certainly didn't change formation either. I just think they came out of the traps in the second half with added gusto. I think Patrick Vieira had said, carry on how we were, They'd shackled Villalba and Almiron, the quality technical players in the side. They prevented any service into Kenwyne Jones. He just got them to start fast in the second half. And start fast they did. I think they were much more dynamic in the second half. I don't think they let Atlanta United play whatsoever. Let's not forget, even in the first half, Atlanta United only had one shot in that first half, and that was that almost wonder strike from Carmona when nobody picked him up on the edge of the box. I think it was very much just go out and do what we did in the first half, but maybe just pass the ball around a little quicker, maybe change the points of attack at times. And I thought that Villa and Jack Harrison and Rodney Wallace up front were aided so well by Maxi Moralez, who's got that free rein in behind them. With Ring and Herrera there, who cover so much ground, I think it allows Maxi Moralez to find little pockets of space on the pitch, and everything seems to go through him. I think that he's unshackled as well, Maxi Moralez, without Pirlo there. Everything goes through Pirlo when Pirlo's on the pitch. When he's not, Maxi Moralez is the one who wants to get on the ball, and he gets on the ball all the time, and I feel he comes more to the fore when Pirlo's not on the start, or not in the starting 11 rather.
Well, Pirlo sitting out his second consecutive game. He was on the bench for both games, did not enter the previous 5 matches he was subbed for. He started those games but was substituted out of those matches. Pirlo this season, no goals, no assists. How would you assess Herrera in his second consecutive start for Pirlo, which will end after this game because Herrera is on his way to Venezuela to prepare for the U20 World Cup?
I said it there. I think that Herrera and Alexander Ring are just the perfect foils for Maxi Moralez. They hold the midfield very, very well, and they cover ground as well. It's not just they don't hold the midfield. They do take up space in front of the back four. They do prevent balls going through, but they have the engines and the legs and the lung capacity to get up and down the field, and they rotate so well. I think you used that phrase, the rotation in the middle, the midfield, and the phrase, the word mobility as well. They're all so mobile. Nobody specifically plays holding midfielder. When Ring goes, Herrera sits. When Herrera goes, Ring sits, and I think it works so well. And I think it's just a shame that Patrick Vieira's found this formation as Herrera goes off to the Under-20 World Cup.
And it'll be interesting now as you go on the road for 4 matches, including the next 3 in 8 days. Certainly there was going to be some adjustments from game to game in the lineup in order to preserve the players physically. But here, it's all about the win and the 3 points. New York City 3, Atlanta United 1. New York City improving to 5-3-1. And with 16 points, they are in 3rd place in the Eastern Conference, trailing Orlando City, and Toronto FC has taken over the top spot in the Eastern Conference. Columbus is in 4th place. The New York Red Bulls are 5, and the Chicago Fire in 6th place. Atlanta United still in 7th, tied with DC United, but they drop a game below 500 at 3-4-2. Back with more of our post-game chat. You're listening to New York City FC Soccer on Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
What if you could get urgent care from a world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital while on vacation in Montauk? What if you could visit with your world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital without leaving your couch? And what if you could receive a second opinion from a world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital from across the nation? You can. Welcome to NYP On Demand from New York Presbyterian. Discover a suite of medical services right on your phone, tablet, or computer. Available on the NYP app and nyp.org/on-demand.
This is Morgan Freeman, executive producer of the documentary The C Word. And I'm here to tell you that defeating cancer takes breakthroughs. A breakthrough is the start of something extraordinary. You, the patients, taking part in clinical trials. You, the scientists, doing next-level research to beat cancer. You, the doctors who care for everyone. Let's be the breakthrough.
To learn about screenings and clinical trials, go to standuptocancer.org/breakthrough. Please talk to your healthcare provider about appropriate screenings and clinical trials.
There's only one St. Mary's healthcare system for children, for kids requiring specialized rehabilitative care.
To learn more, visit stmaryskids.org, where we believe in possible.
An ice-cold Sapporo is the perfect complement to enjoy red-hot NYCFC action. Please share Sapporo responsibly.
Okay, spring is here, And maybe it's time for you to spruce up your house. Call CertaPro Painters, give it a new coat of paint, and you'll be amazed at what a difference it makes. Not only will you feel better about your biggest investment, but your neighbors will love you for getting rid of the eyesore on the block. Increase your property value, and theirs too. There's only one company to call for all of this, and you know what it is. It's CertaPro. You know they've done painting in my house, and they have my official seal of approval. Now, they're not some fly-by-night operation. This is their 25th year. They're neat, they're quick, and I can't say enough good things about them. So, if you're seeing some chipping or peeling or fading, or if you just want a new look, give my friends at CertaPro a call, and they'll take great care of you. For all your painting needs, interior, exterior, call CertaPro Painters today. 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GO-CERTA, or go to CertaPro.com.
CertaPro Painters proudly uses premium quality Benjamin Moore paints and stains. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
The Fan, Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN, WFAN-FM, New York.
Glenn Crooks, Matt Lawrence back at Yankee Stadium, where the sod is being taken up to get ready for New York Yankee baseball as New York City goes on the road. And through the process of rolling that sod up, I always think that's rather amazing just to see that sight. And time for the highlights in this one, though, and there are many, as New York City defeats Atlanta United 3-1. David Villa, last week at Columbus, absent. He was sick, stayed back at the hotel. So the reigning MLS MVP got a lot of support from Jack Harrison and Yangel Herrera, and New York City came from behind to beat Columbus. David Villa trained all week, feeling a lot better, and he showed it in the 17th minute. And Villa in the area, shoots and scores with the right foot. And a nice combination for New York City FC. And Villa found a seam in the defense, and he dribbled into the area. And then with the inside of the right foot, managed to get it past Can. It clanged off the inside of the right post and nestled into the net. New York City 1 and Atlanta 0. For Villa, his 6th goal of the year. And a little later on in the half, though, Atlanta United, and this was unusual for them because they had taken the lead in 7 of their previous 8 matches. Now they trailed, but they got the equalizer in the 39th minute. Atlanta moving right to left here in the first half in the road red with their 5 stripes of black. The target off the throw. Here's the shot and a goal as Kenwyn Jones knocked it down. And the finish for Atlanta United to tie this game up in the 39th minute. And that was Carlos Carmona, the Chilean, who hit a golazo. That will be a candidate for MLS Goal of the Week. No question, Matt.
Yeah, that was a fantastic strike. It really was. Let's be honest. He should have been picked up on the edge of the box. But after that, his strike was absolutely phenomenal. Nothing Sean Johnson could do whatsoever. He was absolutely rooted to the spot.
So the match remained 1-1 entering halftime. And when the second half started, no changes on either side, but there was certainly a change in New York City FC as they took it to Atlanta United immediately inside 1 minute of play. New York City moving right to left on the Yankee Stadium grounds. Harrison puts in an early cross, and it was saved on the line. Here's a head ball by Wallace. Wallace with the first take, gets another shot. And off the short hop, it's deflected out for a corner. Well, it was hard to see with the massive bodies in front exactly what was going on. But we do know that Tyrone Mears saved one off the line. And then Can, the goalkeeper, also got a save. And that was a portent of things to come.
Yeah, it certainly was. They came out of the trap so quickly in the second half, NYCFC, and Atlanta were very, very lucky not to be 2-1 down within 30, 60 seconds maybe of the restart in that second half. It was just a purveyor of things to come. And
finally, New York City broke through. The game-winning goal coming in the 60th minute. Into the Atlanta United end. And a back heel from Villa. First time to Herrera. Wide to Harrison. Ethan White on the overlap. White gets it from Harrison. Ball across. And it's a goal for New York City FC, Rodney Wallace, his third of the year. And the home team takes a 2-1 lead. First time finish by Wallace. There were a number of players in the area, but again, it was just reminiscent of how that second half started and continued and the energy that New York City showed on the attacking side.
Yeah, what I specifically liked, Glenn, with that move was not only the amount of players that were involved, but also the number of bodies they got into the Atlanta United penalty area. Moralez, Wallace, the goal scorer, and Vieira were all there. Any of those could have finished that cross from Ethan White. Just a sparkling team move. I was so impressed with that goal.
And then a minute later, you mentioned Maxi Moralez, and he has come oh so close to scoring over the last 3 games, and he finally connected in the 61st minute. Here's Moralez in close, and he scores inside of the right foot. Assist Rodney Wallace, and New York City increases their lead in the 62nd minute. Rodney Wallace, a goal and an assist. And it was really a clever ball by Wallace into Moralez. And how many times do you see the midfield for New York City make those well-timed, delayed runs? And I think the more that the unit plays together, the more and more we'll see those type of passes from a Rodney Wallace, from a Jack Harrison, from a David Villa, and from deeper positions, maybe a Maxime Chanot and Alexander Collins.
Yeah, certainly as of late, NYCFC have been getting bodies up in conjunction with David Villa, and we saw exactly that. Patrick Vieira, before the game, spoke about having to go from back to front a little quicker. That goal stemmed from a goal kick from Sean Johnson. He launched one long upfield. David Villa got the flick on. A great ball, as you mentioned, Glenn, through from Rodney Wallace, and it really was a majestic finish from Maxi Moralez. Nothing more than they deserved. Highly dominant in the second half, NYCFC. Maybe not in terms of possession, but in terms of clinicism and just their ability to be so dynamic in that attacking third. I think it was as good a 45 minutes of football as you're going to see in the MLS this year.
So on New York City FC Family Day, some happy families. Over 25,000 in attendance at Yankee Stadium watching New York City defeat Atlanta United 3-1. We'll be back with more, including some of the one result from today here in MLS, and a look ahead to this 4-game road trip for New York City FC. You're listening to New York City FC Soccer on Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
There's always 2 ways of doing things, the old way and the smarter way. You could drive around looking for an affordable parking spot, praying not to be late for that meeting or dinner reservation, or you could use Spot Hero to reserve the perfect spot right from your phone, no matter where you're going. You're smart, so you should probably do things the smarter way. Download the free Spot Hero app and park with an extra $10 off your first reservation using promo code FAN. That's promo code FAN. Spot Hero. Park smarter.
It's in the net!
Unbelievable!
What a goal from David Villa!
Captain David Villa and the rest of New York City's team return to Yankee Stadium on Wednesday, May 31st as they welcome the New England Revolution to the Bronx for the first time this season. Kickoff is at 7:30 p.m.
Playing it down the line, the chip, and it's in the net. Jack Harrison from Moralez.
Don't miss your chance to support your city and welcome your boys in blue back to the Bronx for the 2017 season. Tickets are available at nycfc.com, 855-77-NYCFC, or at the Yankee Stadium box office.
Why would anyone ever pay more for name brand tires when they can get the guaranteed lowest price at Town Fair Tire? Plus, Town Fair offers free services like free flat repair for life, free tire rotation for life, and free snow tire changeover for life. If you want name brand tires at the guaranteed lowest price, along with free services for life, remember, nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
There's only one St. Mary's Healthcare System for children, for kids requiring specialized rehabilitative care.
To learn more, visit stmaryskids.org, where we believe in possible.
The Fan, Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN, WFAN FM, New York.
Glenn Crooks, Matt Lawrence, back at Yankee Stadium, where New York City has defeated Atlanta United 3-1. Earlier today, Minnesota United, another United. We have 3 Uniteds now here in Major League Soccer, but Minnesota, the other expansion side, other than Atlanta United, beat Sporting KC today 2-0. It was a home game for Minnesota. And after a very rugged start where it was, you heard so many things that announced how deplorable the Minnesota United team was. They couldn't defend. They were leaking goals in a fashion we've historical proportions here in MLS. Yet they've managed to recover.
I think Adrian Heath recognised very early on that he didn't want a lot of those starting 11 in that 6-1 defeat in the side. They made a couple of trades, obviously bringing Cronin and Birch in from Colorado. They really shored up the defence and the defensive side of the midfield. Two very experienced players in MLS. And he brought other players in. He got rid of the goalie and put Bobby Shuttleworth in pretty much straight away after the first couple of games. And I think they've all led to a remarkable change. And I think you have to tip your hat to Adrian Heath in the fact that he recognised so quickly how poor, use the word deplorable, Minnesota were in those opening couple of games. And he's certainly changed things around. I know that SKC made a couple of changes in their back four today. And this is what happens. The parity of the league, you can't rotate how you do in the Bundesliga or La Liga or the EPL. The quality is not there throughout the squad. You make two changes in your back four, as SKC did, and you pay the price for it.
And Minnesota now just 2 points shy of playoff position in the Western Conference. Back to New York City FC. All right, Matt, 4-game road trip coming up at FC Dallas next Sunday. Then at Real Salt Lake on a midweek, Wednesday. Then Sunday at Orlando City. 3 matches in 8 days. And a player who you'd have to say has made a significant contribution despite his age and despite the fact he really hadn't been on the pitch before last week except for a couple of cameos. Yangel Herrera will be lost to the U20 World Cup team, Venezuela he's representing, and now you have this stretch of very difficult games. Andrea Pirlo, the one thing we mentioned about Pirlo is last week we saw him sprinting with the group of reserves who played limited minutes or no minutes after the match. It's a post-game ritual to do this fitness, and today there is no sign of Pirlo. I just thought we'd mention that, but how do you see this stretch of road games?
Well, as the stretch of road games from NYCF's point of view is incredibly tough. FC Dallas, I've seen them live twice this season. They're the real deal. They're a good side. They really are. Unbeaten as of right now. And so dynamic, so good going forward, and very good at home as well. This will be a tough game. Real Salt Lake, that's a different kettle of fish. I'd fancy NYCFC to go to Real Salt Lake and to get 3 points. But then Orlando as well at the back end. Orlando had a poor result against Houston, I think it was yesterday. I think they lost 4-0. So that was a tough loss for them. But Orlando have got some majestic players going forward. The likes of Vivas and Kaka, obviously. Giles Barnes, somebody I know very well from back home. They've got some good players. So these are 3 very, very tough games. Certainly Atlanta, Orlando and FC Dallas. Real Salt Lake in between. I think they've been poor this season. I think NYCFC would fancy themselves to win that. But, it's just the travelling as well. And you're going to have to start including all the players in your squad as well. And losing Herrera, I think, is a massive blow to Patrick Vieira just when Herrera's found his feet and he's finding his way in MLS.
All right, and he'll miss a minimum of 4 matches. Patrick confirmed that in the locker room prior to the game. And we mentioned those 3 games. It's really a 4-game road trip because a week after Orlando City, it's New York City at Atlanta. So the rematch will happen rather suddenly here on Memorial Day weekend. Again, it's New York City 3, Atlanta United 1 here at Yankee Stadium. We'll be back to wrap things up for you. It's New York City FC Soccer on Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
What if you could get urgent care from a world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital while on vacation in Montauk? What if you could visit with your world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital without leaving your couch? And what if you could receive a second opinion from a world-class doctor at New York's #1 hospital from across the nation? You can. Welcome to NYP On Demand. From New York Presbyterian, discover a suite of medical services right on your phone, tablet, or computer. Available on the NYP app and nyp.org/on-demand.
Joe Beningo here for Smithtown Nissan to deal with it staying on top by keeping their prices at the bottom. They got great news. The man, the myth, the legend, Greg Fina, wants to blow it out this month. So head over to Smithtown Nissan right now and you can be a big winner. Fina and his team will make every deal that they can right now through the end of this month. So go see Fina first at Smithtown Nissan. And if a new car's not what you're looking for, Smithtown Nissan has a gigantic selection of pre-owned vehicles, the absolute best prices. And, of course, the legendary Smithtown Nissan concierge service. It includes valet parking, free snacks, cold drinks, express oil changes. Listen to me, see Fina first. Don't buy anywhere else but Smithtown Nissan. It's surely worth the ride from anywhere. And if you don't want to take my word for it, visit Dealer Rated to see the thousands of reviews from happy customers. Listen to me, see Fina first. Don't buy anywhere else but Smithtown Nissan, Middle Country Road, St. James. SmithtownNissan.com.
The 2017 City membership includes access to private team-related events, exclusive on-field experiences, and much more. Get your City membership by calling 855-77-NYCFC or visiting nycfc.com/membership. This copyrighted broadcast presented by authority of New York City FC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of New York City FC. Executive producer of New York City FC Soccer is Dove Kramer. Engineer in the booth, Carl Infantino. Studio operations, Brian Rascona and Mike Fliegelman. Our next broadcast, Sunday, May 14th, WFAN, 8 p.m. when City visits FC Dallas. For Matt Lawrence, Glenn Crooks, once again the final score, New York City 3, Atlanta 1. New York City FC Soccer is a production of Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN.